Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, Sharenting.
How far will families go for social media likes?
Dirty diaper.
Down one and up one.
Family pride
We've been posting a video every day for the last 3 years.
or inappropriate parenting.
We can't dictate what another individual is going to find embarrassing.
You post about breastfeeding. You hope your daughter looks back at these posts and is proud of them. But what if she's not? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. If you follow Robin and me on social media, you know that we are extremely proud parents of our 2 sons, Jay and Jordan, and our 4 grandchildren, and we love to talk about them. Our oldest son, Jay, and his wife, Erica, will sometimes post their family adventures online, and nowadays it seems like everywhere you look, there are updates from parents and grandparents on social media sharing milestones, birthdays, and cute moments.
When Avery and London were young, Philip and I would post photos of fun times spent with them when we were babysitting or on family trips or holidays. We never posted any photos of them until we had Jay and Erica's approval. Now that they're older, 12 and a half and 11, and are actively involved in school and sports, we feel they have a right to their privacy. If we post a photo of a special event like their birthday or a family vacation, we make sure to get mom and dad's approval, but we also get their approval first. And when Jordan and Morgan gave birth to Roe 19 months ago and a year later to Gray, they posted images of their children on social media, but told us they wanted to be the only ones to do so. And we respect their wishes. They feel it is important to have total control of what photos get posted. We support their decision 100%. We never repost their post either. I told Philip it makes perfect sense because we had over 10 years between grandchildren. And so much has changed with social media in that time. When we were posting our photos of Avery in London, we were doing it as grandparents. We did it on Instagram and Twitter, maybe. So we also posted it because we were grandma and pops and we were so proud. But you know, now the world is so scary.
By the age of 5, the average child will have 1,500 photos of them shared online. That's just crazy. I can't even imagine that. Whether it's pranks, dance videos, or school progress reports, parents are posting now more than ever before. And social media videos involving children are going viral.
My mommy wanted to do my hair day.
What do you want to do?
A down one and up one.
Okay, I got it.
Honey, I'm leaving. Change the baby's diaper.
What? Dirty diaper.
I'm about to go outside and fight this girl as a daughter, and I'm gonna need you to fight her.
Okay, I'm gonna fight with you.
Okay, let's go.
Who told you to eat it?
Can I get $20?
Of course, baby. Here. Anything for you, baby.
Can I get actually 4 more 20s?
4 more 20s? Girl, you're going to be richer than me. I'll give you 1 more 20. That's it. Here you go.
I got it!
What?
Well, there's a term being called sharenting, which is the practice of parents publicizing sensitive content about their children on internet platforms. So, are some parents and family members crossing the line? And how far will families go for social media likes? Now, proponents of sharenting say it is their right as a parent to post whatever they want about their child. Critics, on the other hand, say family members posting sensitive content or oversharing about their children for social media clout is inappropriate, and it's risky for the child's mental health as well as possible future embarrassment. And because you never really know who your audience is, think about that. Well, we're going to talk about all of that today, so let's just get started. We're going to meet a family who has amassed roughly 16 million followers on social media, with 341 million views on TikTok by sharing their lives online.
My doctor told me to let my stress out.
See you.
Thank you, honey. I love you. Have a safe trip. I feed him every day, honey. I promise you I do.
It's Father's Day. We want to be like you. Father's Day.
It's time to line up. It's my birthday.
Oh! There you go, Jenna.
Don't be cheap, Grandpa.
First kids make us laugh.
Gets $100.
We are going to be embarrassing our son, Kais, on the football field.
I found the biggest balloon. Very embarrassing. I was going to do pink cupcakes. Especially in front of his masculine football friends.
100 cupcakes.
How can I help you?
Sir, you're only allowed 2 people in your room.
There's nobody here. See? There's nobody here.
Hey, Dr. Phil. We are the Furhoff family. We'll see you soon, Dr. Phil. We can't wait.
Joining us on stage are 2 members of the Furhoff family, Salem and his son, Nader. And also joining us is Leah Plunkett, author of Sharonhood and faculty at Harvard Law School. She is also a researcher and scholar on children's law. And you've never posted. You're not a poster at all.
I am barely a poster. I will confess.
That's why I ask you. You do post some.
I do post some. And I will confess that when I first had my son, who's now 11, I was posting a fair amount on Facebook. And part of how I got interested in this topic was trying to figure out what was right for me and my family, which may be different than other people and their families.
Okay, so you did wade in.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. I love your term. Also on stage is Sarah, a mom who uses her social media platform to educate parents about the dangers of public oversharing. And of course, that's the big question, Sarah, is what's the definition of oversharing? What's oversharing and what's not?
Yeah, and I think that can be interpreted differently for different people.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a general.
It has to do with age, and it has, but you never know who's watching.
100%.
This is full time. You're at this. You're busy at this.
Yes, we are.
How many posts have you put up?
We've been posting a video every day for the last 3 years, so I'd imagine over 1,000, at least over 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
Nader, you say every so often you do get negative comments that usually come from trolls. And by trolls, there are people that set up accounts. They don't have any followers. They just create an account with a screen name so they can say ugly things.
Absolutely. And honestly, I've learned to ignore it, but I'm just thinking for somebody that's not able to ignore it, that could really affect their mental health.
There are people out there that have no boundaries, no limits to what they will say and what they do. Now, Leah, your concern about people that post up, I think we would agree most parents don't intend to put their children in jeopardy. They don't intend to expose their children in some negative way. I think that would include probably 99% of parents.
Absolutely.
But your concern is that inadvertently they can be putting their children in jeopardy, exposing information that can create problems.
That is my concern, that we don't know who our audience will be now or in the future. We don't know how content may be repurposed, remixed, reshared, and used in ways that we can't anticipate as parents. I'm a mom myself. I've got 2 kids. I adore them, and I absolutely agree. I think almost all parents have their kids' best intentions at heart, and I can tell you folks do. So my concern is not with the parental choice up front. My concern is with how that content may travel. I am concerned about the world that we're living in right now.
Yeah, and you think that children's privacy is being invaded, even
50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
and if they don't, he says his children don't really have an awareness of what's going on, but you think that also means they can't give consent.
Yeah, I don't think children are able to give like informed consent. They don't know what they're getting involved with in regard to posting publicly on social media. You know, you're an adult and you know consent and you know what you're getting involved in regard to the trolls and the potential, consequences and ramifications. And children just aren't aware of what social media is. They like to be filmed and they like to participate in the family activity, but they don't know the long-term ramifications and consequences to all the public oversharing.
Well, I've got a question about that, and we have to take a break. We're going to meet a mom who posts about her almost 3-year-old daughter online. Now, what is her response to negative comments that she receives? We're going to find out after the break. And then I've got a question for you. We'll be right back. Who here thinks, wait a minute, the kids should have a vote in all of this?
When you're recording the video, you don't really think too deep into that. I mean, it was just an idea just to make people laugh.
A child's online presence can begin even before they're born with parents' social media posts. The constant sharing is something that can create problems in the future.
It's called sharenting, and that's when parents share a child's digital identity. 92% of toddlers have their own digital identity by the age of 2. Now, experts say sometimes when kids are old enough to realize their parents shared videos and pictures of them, they have mixed reactions. As always, it's important to remember nothing online is private.
Who here thinks that parents have a right to post whatever they want of their own children? It's their child, they can post whatever they want. Who here thinks that's true? Raise your hand really high. Who here thinks, wait a minute, the kid's young and I know they may not have a good legal mind yet about their rights, but they should have a vote in all of this. Raise your hand. Okay, most of you think they should have a vote in all of this. My question is, you're saying the children, this could be exploitive, it could haunt them later or whatever, but if this was true, we would never have child actors.
I think in regard to child actors, and the comparison is made a lot between like social media kids and child actors, but one thing that child actors have that currently social media children do not are rules and regulations.
What do you think about that?
We need better state and federal laws and regulations and enforcement to get at some of those bad actors. But then in terms of making it possible for parents and sometimes grandparents and other adults who are choosing to create a business with their child's entertainment, we need to have some guardrails around that as well.
Well, here's one of the videos that you guys got some criticism for. Salem says he ignores any negative comments he sees online. So what are some people saying? Let's take a look at this.
Oh, man, girl, you stink. You better go to your father. Oh, my God.
Oh, let her uncle change it today.
Oh, no. Oh, hell no.
Oh. Hey, listen, new guy. We got rules in this house. You want to eat food? Change the diaper. What? I don't even know how. All you need is this.
Okay, now some of the comments that were made is, I love this lovable but absolutely crazy family. Will they adopt me? Her face, y'all embarrassed her. Poor kid, I hope she is not made fun of in school in future for this. That was not funny, poor baby, and besides, what are you teaching? Uncles and a random guy change diaper for your daughter? It will be so embarrassing for her when she grows up. Things like that should be private. Can't love this enough. Amazing video. She's so cute. So they're kind of all over the chart. Now, joining us in the audience is Salem's 29-year-old son, Rush, who is the father to 2.5-year-old Talia and 9-month-old Ella. Rush, what'd you think of the video?
Well, when you're recording the video, you don't really think too much of that or think too deep into that. Now, thinking about it, I mean, maybe it shouldn't have been posted. Maybe we should have thought about it before we posted it. But I mean, it was just an idea just to make people laugh. I mean, nobody really wants to change a diaper, you know. That's the purpose of the video. Who really wants to change a diaper, you know? I mean, she didn't really stink at the time. It was just a created video for us to kind of just put it out there.
Yeah. What do you think about it now? Are you okay with it now?
I think it's okay. That's my opinion. I really do feel it's okay. I think it's all in fun and it's just a video, so I don't think there's no harm done by the video. Honestly, I don't. But the whole video was set up to make people laugh, like he said. Mm-hmm. And nobody actually changed a diaper. You know, you can't believe everything you hear on the internet, right?
You post about breastfeeding. You say you hope your daughter looks back at these posts and is proud of them. But what if she's not? Now, Trinity is a TikToker with over 1.8 million views. Trinity says she first started blogging to give a relatable look into motherhood. Now she continues to post about her almost 3-year-old daughter online. Let's take a look.
I'm 24 years old and I'm mommy to my 3-year-old daughter. I originally started a blog about 1.5 years ago, just trying to share my motherhood journey with the world. I would really like to make an impact on other people with my stories and just really want to show other people the good things and the bad things of being a mom. I choose to share our lives on social media because I really just want my daughter to be able to go back and look at all those memories and know all the different things that we did on all the different days. I definitely get a lot of backlash. I receive criticism on social media when I post about breastfeeding especially. I choose to extended breastfeed my 3-year-old daughter. People say a lot of really mean things. I need to be turned into Child Protective Services, and people will say that I'm disgusting, I'm a terrible mom, but I know what's best for my family and my daughter. So hopefully through this, I can reach out to more people and be able to just show everybody that being a mom is a great thing.
Well, Trinity, welcome.
Thank you.
So you have how many children?
1.
Okay. And you've posted how many videos?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you post about breastfeeding, and you've gone past probably the average.
Correct.
Breastfeeding by how much?
I feel like in the U.S., the average is about 1 year old, but in other countries, you can go up to 7 years old, and that's completely normal. So I personally have just chosen to go a little bit longer because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm able to. And so I love the bond with my child, and I know that it still gives her a ton of nutrients, so I do it.
And you post it, why?
Well, actually, the original time that I posted breastfeeding, I wasn't going to post it. I was joking around, taking a video, breastfeeding my daughter. We were dancing to whatever was popular at that time, and my niece was dancing as well. My sister was like, oh, you have to post this. It's hilarious. So I did. Nothing happened, and then about a month later, all of a sudden on TikTok, it just blew up a ton. And I got plenty of positive feedback, but also a ton of negative feedback.
And what was the negative feedback?
I had people going to the extent of telling me to kill myself, actually.
Telling somebody to kill themselves on the internet is just, there's no justification for it. Now, you say specifically when it comes to breastfeeding that you hope your daughter looks back at these posts and is proud of them. But what if she's not?
Well, then that's something that we will have to deal with later. But I think that breastfeeding really is not normalized, and so you should be able to go out in public and breastfeed if you want. But so many people will look at you in public and think that you're disgusting, but I am just nourishing and feeding my child. It's not like I'm doing it to be sexual or do anything wrong.
That's about you, but what about her?
At this point, she can't really speak for herself yet and tell me if she does or doesn't want that on there. So I think that ultimately I am the parent and I get to choose, and I choose to post that. I don't post a lot of other things that could be inappropriate or taken as inappropriate. I don't post her in a swimsuit. I don't post her in the bath. I don't post her without a shirt on because I think that that's not okay. But
well, you have posted pictures of her in the bath and without a shirt on.
So that must have been a long time ago before anything had ever happened.
On Instagram.
Okay.
That can be misappropriated by someone, right? That's y'all's concern.
Yes.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
That is a big concern. And then also in terms of how we model behavior for our kids. And again, every family has to come up with the kind of digital citizens that they want their children to be. Parents do have really a huge amount of rights and responsibility in this space. And so what we model for our kids in terms of how much they should care about having their picture taken, how much they should share it, how they should respond to feedback, we are modeling for them, even if they may not quite understand what it is that they're seeing. So that is also something that I think about when I think about sharenting.
If you think your child is not at risk by posting them online, think again. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Most parents will post 1,500 pictures of their child before they turn 5, with hashtags like bath time or potty training. But by posting those innocent pictures, parents could expose their children to sexual predators without even knowing it. They say sexual predators often search hashtags to get pictures of children to upload or sell. They can even use the location to track them down.
It's always something scary to think about, like, no, it can't be my kid, but, you know, very well could be one day.
Samantha Treglone sets her profile to private and watches what she shares.
Now, we were just talking about Trinity and what she posts. I saw some of you squirming in your seats.
For me, I think it all comes down to the topic of consent. It's one of the most important things we can teach our children is consent. And the best way to teach them is to model it. And as parents, that is our responsibility. So how can you model consent while at the same time taking it away from them?
Yeah, you know, we've talked to the cyber prosecutors, the cyber investigators, and there are hashtags that predators are drawn to, like hashtag bath time baby, hashtag kid bikini, hashtag bikini kids, hashtag child bath, hashtag diaper free, hashtag kids shower time, hashtag loves being nude, hashtag nude child, hashtag potty training fail, hashtag potty training, hashtag toddler bath time, hashtag toddler bikinis, hashtag kids bedroom. Some of those pretty obvious, but some of them you would think, oh, how innocent could they be? But they're drawn to those hashtags, and that's where they go looking for content. Plus, there are other things they can do with these images, right?
That's right. There are other ways that individuals, but also companies, can take images that parents post on social media. So we have documentation that images of toddlers back in 2005 posted were used in 2019 or so to train facial recognition software. That's one of many examples of not individual perpetrators and bad actors, but actually companies swooping in and scooping up images and repurposing them. So you're absolutely right. That is a concern as well.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
It's just a lot to think about. I always say that there are certain things that I think should just be a general no-no for parents, and that's definitely like personal identifiable information, like full names and birth dates. And I think some topics should just be off limits. As you mentioned, bath time, potty training is also something that they look for, swimwear, as you mentioned. I believe there are certain things that maybe generally as parents we can all just agree on shouldn't be posted publicly online.
What do y'all think about posting breastfeeding videos of a 3-year-old?
I think that, as you said, unfortunately, in the world we live in, you are going to get absolutely undeserved trolling and hateful comments, and I'm really sorry that happened to you. And I think that your daughter will have a conversation with you about it when she is old enough to see what's out there, and you seem like the kind of parent who will hear what she has to say, and digital content is not static. And so one of the wonderful things about it is that if it needs to change, it can, and I could imagine, I don't know your daughter, I could imagine maybe as she gets older, that's something she might want.
There are dangers of sharing online, but there are also positives as well. And we're going to talk about both of those when we come back.
I want to remind parents that it's never too late to change. There have been influencers who have amassed millions of followers and have made the decision after years or a decade to take their children offline. It's never too late to put your children's right to privacy ahead of your online popularity. You can take your kids offline. You can do it. It'll be okay. And that's what's best for them.
Well, we're back talking about sharing our lives on social media, and we've talked about a lot about the negatives today, but do my guests feel there are any positives to sharing information online? And yeah, I want to ask Robin, have you noticed parenting and social media has changed throughout the years?
Yes, it has changed so much. It's grown, all the platforms, so many platforms. And what I can't believe is how young the children are that get on these platforms. We were talking about Avery and London, and I can remember when they were just 3 years old, 4 years old, they could get on the platforms, they could show me how to set up a new account. Of course, I said, no, I don't want to do that. But so many out there, and they allow the children on them. Everything has changed. It's grown, and to me, it's very, very dangerous. It's scary.
You know, there's a term that you may have heard called presentism. And that's a term where you go back and find something that happened years in the past and pull it up to the present and judge it by current day standards. Things that might have been okay with the social mores and folkways of the time, but not today. And you pull it up, measure it by today's standards, and judge somebody by that. I worry about that too, that things they live for a long time on the internet.
Forever.
Yeah, it just doesn't ever go away. And, you know, how are things going to change in 15 years when some of these kids have to live with those images?
Well, we know already that as kids are getting older, while all teenagers are always embarrassed by something their parents do, I am old enough to have grown up pre-social media. I could have my dad here and say something to him. But we do know that teenagers and even younger kids are starting to express some concerns about this. A 2019 study, for instance, of kids in over a dozen countries found that over 40% of them were concerned about what their parents were sharing about them online, because kids, even as you point out, from very young ages, start to become digitally savvy at a really alarming rate, and they can have very strong opinions even from a fairly early age.
Yeah, I think it's important that, we can't dictate what another individual is going to find embarrassing, right? We hope they won't be embarrassed by this content later in life, but we are consenting to the images that we are putting out as adults, and I wouldn't want anyone putting out images or videos that I wasn't aware of or that I didn't know were being posted publicly, right? So we just have to acknowledge that with our children, that we might not think they would be embarrassed, but they're their own individual beings, and they might have a different experience, and that might be embarrassment from things they see.
We'll be right back. Kids, need a vote. How many of you will think about this differently, having focused on it with regard to your kids? Raise your hand, if you would. Okay, that's what I thought. It does make you think, right? And it's too bad. But the fact of the matter is, when kids get on the internet, they, on average, encounter a predator within minutes a significant percentage of the time. I mean, they're there. They know where kids go. And so if you think they're not out there, or that's just a random thing, You know, we used to think about predators in a raincoat hanging around the schoolyard. They're on the internet, right?
That's right.
And you don't want to be feeding them information. And I have to say, I've looked at your
50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
Content. It is very family-friendly content. I don't know what conversations you've had with all the kids when they were younger and stuff like that, but your content is very family-friendly.
The doctors have opened up our eyes, though, you know, going forward. I think that we have to really make sure before we put the grandkids out there to make sure we understand what we're doing, because this opened up my eyes a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna think twice before we rearrange the videos next time, you know.
Yeah. Any regrets for anything you post?
I mean, I did post a lot of stuff before I had even had a following. So I guess, yes, in some ways, but at the same time, I still am fine with posting about breastfeeding, and creating healthy boundaries is something that's good. And yeah, I am going to look at a lot of different things and really try to educate myself on things now. But overall, no.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you were to look at your demographic of your following and you noticed, have you ever looked at your demographic?
Yeah.
If you noticed that a large portion of them were men, how would you feel about that?
My husband follows me.
Yeah.
He's a dad.
What's your most popular content? What's your most viral videos?
Breastfeeding.
Your breastfeeding videos. There's a reason that it's your breastfeeding videos. There's a reason that videos of kids in bathtubs and things like that go viral. If you look at someone's profile and their main and first viral video is their child in the bathtub, or the child having their diaper changed, or a breastfeeding video, you are not sexualizing it, obviously. It's a beautiful thing. I breastfed both of my daughters. It's a beautiful thing between a mom and a daughter. You are not sexualizing it. But on the internet, there are thousands, millions of people that are. And while you may make that decision to put yourself out there like that and educate the way that you do and bring awareness to something that's very important to you, your child hasn't. And so, in essence, your child is becoming a part of something that they did not choose to be a part of.
Thank you for that input.
Yeah. All right. Just ahead, she has it all. A great family, successful businesses, and there's one thing that she can't seem to achieve, and she's come here for help. Next. After working in corporate America for 11 years, my next guest, Michelle, decided to branch out and chase her dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. Now, since then, Michelle has successfully created nearly a dozen businesses, but is still hoping for success in another area of her life.
It's just constantly go, go, go. I'm a busy woman. I'm a self-taught interior designer, and I'm an entrepreneur. I own businesses, and I also invest in properties.
How are y'all today?
Good. I own a restaurant. It's called Urban Salt Kitchen and Bar.
Hey, Bear, what's in that pot again?
It's a very fun, upbeat restaurant. Being the boss, appearance is a major part of my business. I want to make sure that I look my best. My face is my business, it's my brand. When I look in the mirror lately, what bothers me the most is my dry skin. I notice my problem areas are my cheeks, forehead, and my chin. My makeup doesn't even last through the day like it used to since the skin's so dry. I'm looking for something that is effective and easy to apply, especially when I'm on the go. I will do anything to make my skin look its best and to try to help me get that confidence back.
Well, joining me are Michelle and Dr. Rolanda Wilkerson, beauty scientist for Procter & Gamble and Olay spokesperson. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Michelle, it takes a lot of courage to step away from corporate America and become an entrepreneur, start your own businesses. So what prompted you to make that leap?
Well, I figured if I was going to work for myself, I wanted to do something I loved. And I always had an interest in
having different kinds of businesses. So I loved design and construction, and the restaurant was another one. And it was a lot of hard work. It still is, but I've enjoyed it. It's worth it.
Yeah, you took a big leap.
Yes.
So in addition to running all your businesses, you also have a family. So how do you manage all that and all of this?
It's a lot. It's crazy. So I've been married for 19 years. My husband, Danny, he's a firefighter, and he is retired military. He, on his off days, helps me with some of my businesses, whether he wants to or not.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, yes. My oldest is 24. Olivia, I have a son. He's 18, and my youngest is 16. And I have a grandbaby. She's 3. She calls me Lala, not Grandma. But I have noticed that with my dry skin, I am feeling more like a grandma and looking like a grandma, so I need some help with that.
Yeah. So are you doing anything about it? Are you doing anything about your skin concern?
No, I'm horrible. I can't, I don't have time. I don't like to follow a routine. So I need something really simple, easy that I can do.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Wilkerson, I'm going to turn this over to you because skincare is so out of my wheelhouse.
Thanks, Dr. Phil. Michelle, you have an incredibly full plate. And great skincare, though, is really easy when you have the right products. The number one thing we can do to help keep our skin looking healthy is to hydrate it.
Well, are there specific products that can help her do that?
Yes, I would suggest 2 products from Olay's new Regenerous Hyaluronic Plus Peptide 24 collection. The first product is Olay's Hyaluronic Gel Moisturizer. It absorbs quickly for a visibly dewy and smooth finish. Testing has shown that this moisturizer hydrates better than the #1 gel moisturizer, and it is supercharged to help keep the skin hydrated for up to 24 hours. And the second product I would recommend is Olay's Hyaluronic Eye Gel. That particular product gives long-lasting hydration to plump and smooth the delicate area around the eyes.
So where can Michelle find this kind of product?
You can find those products at Olay.com, and they're available at retailers nationwide.
So is this something that you think you could use? You could fit these products into your incredibly busy life?
Yeah, it sounds easy, and it sounds like something that I think I can do.
So Dr. Wilkerson, could you help get her started?
Yes, we can. Olay is gifting you with a year's supply of both the Hyaluronic Facial Moisturizer and the eye gel to get you started and keep you on.
And the studio audience, we want you to know Olay is giving you both of those products, okay? All right. Look, I want to thank all of my guests today. I want to thank you, Michelle, and Dr. Wilkerson. Thank you so much for being here. And a special thanks to Olay for helping you and for being so generous with our studio audience. For more information about today's episode, if you'd like to share your story, log on to drphil.com. And just because we're done here on stage, our conversation from earlier will continue on Facebook, YouTube, and drphil.com, so you can head over there to hear more about what we were talking about today. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, you know where to find me on the social media platforms. And if you're in the LA area, or you're going to be sometime in the future, and you want to be in the studio audience, we would love to have you. Just go to drphil.com, click on Be Part of the Audience, and you'll get all the details about how to do it. We make it really easy for you. Also, follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. This week, I'm continuing my conversation with Michael Schellenberger. He's the author of San Francisco, Why Progressives Ruin Cities. He says that he believes that America's approach to drug abuse, crime, and homelessness has just gotten too soft. We dig deeper into the issue and what we can do moving forward. Also listen to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw, and learn really fascinating tips to remove roadblocks to your goals, feel more fulfilled in your current life, and create bigger opportunities for yourself with organizational psychologist and best-selling author Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He is the world's leading expert on future self. You don't want to miss that. Be sure to subscribe to both. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
The
following program contains graphic images. Viewer discretion is advised. Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I can't imagine being on vacation, then all of a sudden...
Coming home a widow.
You do not believe that your husband died of natural causes.
I believe that somebody murdered him.
All I could think of was that my husband was going to have to identify me, and he wouldn't be able to because there wouldn't be much left.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
I'm exclusive.
The police have come out to say that I didn't really have any injuries. I was fine.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, this is the view you dream of when you head to the tropics for a Caribbean vacation, right? Pristine beaches, blue skies, warm water, and sipping on a frozen margarita. But in the past year, tranquility has turned to terror for some people visiting these idyllic vacation hotspots, these all-inclusive resorts that tourists flock to. Summer vacation is over now, but the headlines still linger. American tourists getting violently ill, dying, and even being physically assaulted.
Mystery in the Dominican Republic. What killed a Maryland couple while on their dream vacation?
At least 8 Americans have died while in the Dominican Republic.
A national alert in Costa Rica after the government says 19 people have died from drinking tainted alcohol.
The series of deaths at luxury resorts have created confusion and raised questions about the island's safety.
Canoeing together. 63-year-old Edward Nathaniel Holmes and his fiancée vacationing in the Dominican Republic late last month. They never returned home to Prince George's County.
The very day they were to leave the hotel, staff found them dead in their hotel room.
Local autopsies concluded most died of respiratory problems or heart attack.
A Colorado couple say they became seriously ill last summer. Kaylin Null says their room began smelling of chemicals. They say they suffered dizziness, blurred vision, stomach cramps, and shortness of breath.
Doctors later suspected the couple had been exposed to chemicals typically found in pesticides.
Tammy Lawrence Daly says in January that she was attacked by a stranger inside the resort where she was staying in the Dominican Republic.
Tammy Lawrence Daly says she went to get a late-night snack when a man in a resort outfit robbed her and brutally beat her, then left her in a maintenance closet. She suffered permanent disfigurement from her injuries.
That last story was Tammy, and she's our first guest today. The news of her attack went viral, and it captivated the nation after she wrote a Facebook post claiming she was savagely attacked while staying at a luxury resort.
Her mother in Delaware is emotionally recounting a savage attack. She was nearly killed while on vacation in the Caribbean.
Never in a million years would I ever have thought a trip to the Dominican Republic would turn into an absolute nightmare. After attending a show that evening, my husband and I and our friends ended up walking back to our rooms. Chris was really tired, so he jumped into bed. I, however, was still a little hungry. I decided to go down to the lounge for a snack. I ended up bypassing the first lounge and decided to walk into the next building. As I started to walk, I noticed footsteps behind me. Out of nowhere and without warning, a man pushed me forward. He immediately wrapped his hands around me and immobilized my arms and covered my mouth. I was unable to scream or really move. His grip was that intense. My immediate instinct was to fight back. As I was struggling with him, he let go of my mouth, and at that time I screamed. I heard him say no. And then he wrapped his hands around my throat extremely tight. I knew I was going to pass out. I was completely panicked. I could feel him pulling me. He was dragging me into what I believe is a maintenance room. I knew something bad was really going to happen if I made it in there. I was grabbing the door frame to try to prevent him pulling me into that room. He still had his hands wrapped around my neck. I couldn't breathe. The fear was overwhelming. When I gained consciousness, he was kicking me in the head and beating me, and I thought he was going to bash my head in at that point. The pain was unbelievable, and the blows kept coming. You could feel the rage coming off of him. I must have lost consciousness again, and when I came to, I was on my stomach, and he had wrapped something around my neck and started to strangle me again. All I could think of was that my husband was going to have to identify me, and he wouldn't be able to because there wouldn't be much left. I felt that it was over, it was done. I had no fight left. And I just remember with that last breath, breathing in some water with the air and losing consciousness. I knew I was going to die, and I just gave up.
Well, after being left in a crawl space to die, Tammy was finally found 8 hours later. Take a look.
I regained consciousness and couldn't believe I was alive. I didn't know where I was. It was pitch black. I couldn't see. All I could hear was machinery running. I realized that my eyes were swollen shut. I remember laying on my left side in about 2 to 3 inches of water and rocks. I tried to sit up, and the pain was so overwhelming. My head was throbbing. My nose hurt, my mouth hurt, my bra was hanging off under my clothing. The boy shorts that I was wearing underneath of my dress were slightly down in the back, exposing parts of my body. I was scared. I really felt that I was going to die, and it just killed me because I just didn't want to do that to my kids and to my husband. Later, I ended up hearing voices above me, 2 male voices, and I just started screaming, "Help me, help me." The men ended up leaving, and they ended up coming back with additional people. I was shaking so bad from cold, shock, and I remember I heard women come up, and I could hear them gasping. A woman wrapped a robe around me, and she hugged me, and she said in English, "You're safe, you're safe." At that point, I thought I was going to live. They drove me to the medical unit on the resort. As we pulled up, I heard my girlfriend scream, "Oh my God, Tammy, it's Tammy. Oh my God, is that you?" And then I heard my husband start screaming, "What did they do to you? What did they do to you? Oh my God." I was rushed to the hospital at that point. I can't believe I survived. I absolutely believe this is a miracle that I survived this whole ordeal.
Well, joining us today in a daytime exclusive, please welcome Tammy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so sorry for what has happened to you then, and I'm actually sorry for what you've had to go through since then, and we'll get into that. But there's a lot to your story that the public just doesn't know. So why did you choose to talk about that now and talk about it here?
Well, I wanted to really tell the story from my truth, my words. I just feel like this is a safe place to tell that story.
Some people have questioned the story or not believed the story. And I've looked at these pictures that were taken at the time. What part of this would anyone question? What's the puzzle here?
The police in Dominican and the resort have come out to say that I didn't really have any injuries other than some bruising on my face and a broken fingernail, that I was fine. That this was my husband that did this, basically telling everybody that we did this on purpose.
That this was a scam of some sort? These are some excerpts from the resort's Twitter statement. Showed bruises on her face and had a broken fingernail without presenting any other signs of violence on her body, and still being in possession of her purse, cell phone, and other belongings, disclosed her version of the case 4 months after it happened. There are weak points, contradictions, still unanswered questions in this strange and unusual case. How'd you feel when you read that?
I felt horrible. I felt nauseated because I couldn't believe the resort would come out and say that. Their management and head of security showed up in the emergency room that I was in. The head of security wouldn't even look at me because I was so bad.
You think there may have been more than one assailant?
I think so. It felt as if somebody was kicking my head on the left side, but the blows felt like they were coming straight down on my face. So it just felt like there was more than one person.
And I know that you were in an altered state of consciousness or unconscious. Do you have a sense that you were sexually assaulted or no?
When I came to...
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
In the, well, I call it the hole because that's what it felt like. One of the things I noticed was some pain, and that was unusual. So I feel that something did happen.
We're going to take a break for a second. Tammy's husband says he feels guilty for his wife's brutal attack. We're going to meet him and find out why after the break. Despite horrifying stories coming out of the Dominican Republic, the Minister of Tourism for the island insists the 2.7 million Americans that visit each year are safe, and the island is taking every measure to ensure that. Chris worries he'll never be able to erase the image of his wife's beaten and bloodied face from his mind because he saw her on a golf cart the next morning after looking for her all night long.
The assault that happened to my wife at the resort in Dominican Republic seemed like it happened yesterday. I woke up at 1:45 in the morning and immediately started looking around after noticing she wasn't there. I called my friends. We immediately met and started looking for her. I was getting really scared. By 3 a.m., we talked to the gentleman at the front desk and told him what was going on. The staff was basically saying that maybe she was drunk, passed out somewhere. At 5:30, when the sun started coming up, we started looking again. We still couldn't find her. One of my friends said, let's go to the medical facility to see if they found or heard anything. As we got to the medical facility, a golf cart pulled up and I saw someone getting off of it. And that's when our friend said, hey, that's Tammy's shoes, that's Tammy. Her face was so mangled, her head was swollen, her eyes were shut. I immediately felt guilt. I started telling her, I'm sorry, I shouldn't let you go. I didn't think she was going to survive. Since the assault, I keep blaming myself. 1, not going with her, and 2, falling asleep. I wasn't around to protect her. Tammy struggles a lot. I feel constant anger and anxiety when I look at her and see that she's not the same person. I see her physically and how well she healed, but I can't see her mentally. I know she's not okay, and she knows she's not okay. She just holds it all in. It just kills me when I realize that it's hurting her so bad.
Well, Chris, let me just ask you straight up. Do you feel like you failed your wife?
Yes, for letting her go by herself. And not only that, but falling asleep.
Take me through the moment you saw her face for the first time.
She was so covered with blood, dried up blood, and it didn't look like her. I thought she was going to die right there.
And how do you feel when there's been conjecture that you did that to her?
It's just crazy. It makes me angry.
Was there any scam involved here in any way?
No. I mean, I would never choose to have myself beaten half to death and strangled unconscious twice. And basically, this man disposed of my body. He put me in that crawl space area with wastewater. That's not a scam.
Now, there have been statements made by the Dominican Republic law enforcement on June 3rd of this year. A police spokesman said, and these are just excerpts, a lot of conjecture about the case, a lot of information that doesn't match some of the statements. And on the next day, Dominican Republic Attorney General's office, rape kit came up negative. 6'5", the Putacana tourism police spokesman, incongruencies and discrepancies in statements made. Spokesperson from the Dominican Republic Attorney General's office, couple had not filed a complaint. Is that true?
No, it's not true. The thing that irritates me the most is the rape kit. They didn't do a rape kit when I first went into the hospital. It was 48 hours later after they told me to shower. And when they came in, it was an external swab. That was it. So there was no reason for a rape kit to come back positive with what they did. They disposed of my clothes. My clothes are all missing. And we testified in front of the judge, in front of the public defender and the prosecutor.
Well, how can they say you didn't file a complaint then?
I don't know.
Well, next, is there someone that saw something that could shed some light on this? We'll be right back. The resort where Tammy says her assault took place admits that the negative attention the island has since received forced them to close temporarily after thousands of reservations were canceled. Tammy says the physical scars from the attack, frankly, are nothing compared to the actual mental scars that haunt her every day.
When people look at me, they think I'm fine. They don't even know I went through this trauma. But my mind is another case. I've lost a piece of that. I suffer every day. I think about it every waking minute. I think about him hitting me, and I can hear his grunt when he hit me from behind. I also suffer from severe anxiety, PTSD. There's a lot of different triggers that will cause me to have anxiety or panic attacks. Walking down corridors, I have issues with men behind me. My head is constantly on a swivel, looking around, trying to see who's around me, who might come after me. My employer had to move me into an office so that my back was against the wall and I could see everybody coming towards me. I also struggle with guilt and shame. When he was strangling me, I gave up. I stopped fighting. Almost cost me my life. And my children would have had to grow up without a mother, and my husband would have had to bury me.
You know, you said it well, the physical scars do heal, but what's happened inside and the residual of this and the fear that it causes and the triggers that are left, I mean, those go on. Was there someone that may have seen something here?
Yes, a woman who stated that she was in that hallway at the time I was taken and had witnessed two men at the door. And when she walked by, she gave them a smile, and she said she actually feared for her life because of the looks that they gave her. And she went back to her room, and she jokingly told her husband, you know, I'm glad I'm fat and ugly, or I think they would have kidnapped me and threw me in that room.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about some excerpts from the affidavit of the witness that you're talking about. She says, as I walked to the lounge, I passed the maintenance closet and noticed two males standing against the wall with the maintenance door propped open. The two men were wearing uniforms. As I walked past the two men, I felt afraid. I realized she was attacked shortly after I walked past that propped maintenance closet. So your sense and what she reports having seen are very consistent.
Supports it, yeah.
So that gives some information, but again...
Well, they found evidence where I was found. There was a mop handle, a mop. And when he was beating me, I thought he was using fists, but he was actually using the mop handle to beat me with a club, like a club. And there was blood all over the mop handle.
I talked about residual.
Yeah, I struggle every day. My mind, I can't turn off my mind. My mind goes to that situation, what happened, over and over and over again. It's like on a constant loop.
This can last forever if you don't do certain things to be free of it. And I want to talk about that with Son. I don't want to hurry that. Tammy wonders if she will ever be able to overcome all the feelings that she has. shame, guilt, anxiety, fear, all the things that you can imagine you're left with after this. She can, but it takes some work. We're going to talk about it after the break. Well, I'm here with Tammy and Chris, and we're talking about what can happen mentally, emotionally, after going through a highly traumatic event. And in this case, that traumatic event is what Tammy has described as a brutal attack. You actually feared for your life. You thought you were dying at that point.
I did. I thought I was dying twice. When he was beating me, all I could think of was that he was going to bash my head in. And
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
the horror of them finding me and my husband having to identify me.
Yeah.
And then the second time when he strangled me unconscious as I was losing consciousness, I thought about my kids and my husband and thought they'll never find me. And if they do, I felt so guilty because I laid there and let him do that to me.
When you get in a fight for your life, it's a win-lose. You either live or you die.
Right.
Did you live or did you die?
I lived.
So if you live, then
I won.
You won. You're here. You survived. You're still here. You're still here. And if you let that situation control you, then you're still there. I can't diagnose you sitting here. I would have to do a whole lot more than I can do in this period of time. But on the short list of considerations is that you are experiencing the aftermath of a very traumatic event, and you're describing a textbook scenario of post-traumatic stress syndrome. There's a place that I've worked with for years and years called Onsite, and it is in just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and they do very intensive workshops, and some of them are specifically designed for people that have been through trauma. And I've talked to these folks and made arrangements for that to be available for both of you. Right. Because I think this is a walk that you could really benefit from taking together. Yeah. Because I think you're suffering very much as well.
Yes, I am.
I never disrupt ongoing therapy, so I would ask you to talk with your therapist about this, and if they have no objection to it, then I would highly recommend it. How does that sound to you?
Sounds really good. I would just like to be able to live and go day to day without thinking about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Now, to complete this loop, I want to say we reached out to local authorities in the Dominican Republic and the resort. The federal police and the tourism police issued a no comment. The resort was unavailable for comment at this time. And for the statement from the Minister of Tourism in the Dominican Republic, you can go to drphil.com. Next, we're going to meet Dawn. She says her husband is one of the 12 American tourists who have died in the Dominican Republic since June of 2018. She insists her husband did not die of natural causes. We're going to meet her after the break. There have been 12 reported American tourist deaths in the Dominican Republic since June 2018. 12. There have also been a steady stream of travelers claiming sudden illnesses while vacationing there. Now, this has some believing counterfeit alcohol may be to blame. Now, tragically, Dawn's husband, David, was one of those 12 deaths. Take a look.
Dawn McCoy and her 45-year-old husband, David, were spending a dream vacation in the Dominican Republic when he suddenly became ill and died.
Dawn McCoy and her husband, David Harris, had gone to the Dominican Republic to celebrate their anniversary. But this time, after heading back to his room, the 45-year-old Harris complained he felt terrible. He woke up in deep trouble.
It happened last July, but she's coming forward now after hearing about the deaths of 3 American tourists within 5 days. Her husband's death was ruled a heart attack by authorities in the Dominican Republic, but his wife told Inside Edition she doesn't believe it.
Despite her suspicion, McCoy never had a second autopsy on her husband in the U.S., and she had his body cremated. Now she thinks that was a big mistake.
Now, despite none of the dozen deaths or reported sicknesses having been ruled suspicious or due to tainted alcohol, Dawn claims her husband, David, in fact, was murdered.
In spite of what the coroner's report said, I don't believe my husband died of natural causes. He was murdered. On our 9th day, David had indicated that he wasn't feeling well. He went to the room and slept until 10 o'clock. I woke him up. He had a very strange smell. It was very pungent. I asked him to take a shower and to brush his teeth, and even after he did that, the smell was still there. I woke up about 5:20 to David trying to get out of bed. He was unable to talk. His skin was a pale yellowish color, and he was foaming at the mouth. I was terrified. I dialed the hotel operator immediately, begging for somebody to please come. My 12-year-old son tried to perform CPR on David because it was taking so long for the doctor to come. My son was telling me, "Mommy, it's not working, it's not working." We were like, "David, hang on. Somebody's coming. Please, just hang on." It took the doctor approximately 22 minutes to get to our room, and they had used a defibrillator on David. He was not moving. We arrived at the hospital approximately 1.5 hours after my initial call. The funeral director told me that David had passed. I was totally in shock. When I got the autopsy report, it had indicated that David had died of a heart attack. My husband was 45 years old and he was very healthy. David had no history of heart problems at all. I was very suspicious that they're trying to hide something. I'm going to get to the bottom of it and I will find out the truth.
I'm terribly sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I can't imagine being on vacation and...
Coming home a widow.
Yeah. You do not believe that your husband died of natural causes.
I don't.
Tell me what you do think happened.
Well, I believe that somebody murdered him, whether it was intentional or unintentional.
But you do know that 45-year-old seemingly healthy men, in fact, do fall over and die. I'm not saying that's what happened with your husband, but we're going to put all of the possibilities on the table. That does happen.
Most of the people that are dying all have one common denominator, and that's pulmonary edema.
Joining us now is Dr. Joel Kahn. Now, Dr. Kahn serves as the clinical professor of cardiology at the Wayne State University School of Medicine, and he is the founder of the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity. So, Dr. Kahn, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Walk us through what's here on the autopsy report and what you conclude from looking at this.
David had an enlarged heart. Now, we do know he was on blood pressure medicine, but more significantly, one of the 3 major heart arteries to his muscle of his heart was said to be obstructed, the right coronary artery, having caused a heart attack on the bottom of the heart and leading to damage. And in fact, that kind of heart attack on the bottom of the heart can mimic a whole lot of other conditions that don't present rather classically with the crushing elephant on the chest. In fact, so much of what it is reported in the hours before he died do match very closely.
Okay, I'm going to ask Dawn what she thinks about this right after the break. Well, I'm back with Dawn, and we've been talking to a very noted cardiologist, Dr. Kahn, and on autopsy, they reported finding that he did have obstruction and that his heart was enlarged, and those symptoms were consistent. Symptoms that are consistent with that kind of problem are what you reported on the evening that he died.
Right.
And that's why I asked Dr. Khan to come here. What do you think about that?
I don't know. This is something I wasn't expecting, so I don't know what to think.
Is it possible that this is what killed your husband?
Up until 2 minutes ago, I would say no. Yeah. I don't know what to actually think right now. I feel like if you have a heart attack, you have symptoms that come on other than an upset stomach. I've never heard of a heart attack starting with an upset stomach or having diarrhea. I've never heard of that.
This does happen, and it probably was a heart attack, and we have to accept that and get our heads around it. And because until you do that, you're going to be on task.
On 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
An investigation, on a crusade, and as long as you're doing that, you're not grieving. Grief is not a mental illness. It's a process you go through, but if you're having trouble getting started in it or getting through it, then we'll provide help with that. Just know that, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, we reached out to the resort where Dawn's husband passed away for a statement. They said, no comment. Coming up, we'll meet a young woman who thought she had the flu, but it turned out to be a nearly fatal disease. Her amazing story of survival next. I feel sick and think it's the flu. Well, my next guest had exactly that feeling, but the next day wound up hospitalized. She later learned she had contracted meningitis. Now, in order to save her life, doctors had to amputate her legs below the knee and her fingers. Now, some of the images may be disturbing. Here's Jamie's remarkable story.
When I was 20 years old, I was attending my dream university. One night, came down with flu-like symptoms. I was cold, shivering to the bone. The next morning, I was so weak I could barely walk. I needed to go to the hospital. I had no idea that would have been the last time I walked with my natural-born legs. The nurse in the emergency room suspected what was later confirmed, that I contracted meningitis.
As a mom, it was the hardest thing watching her fight for her life.
I saw my limbs go from red to purple to black to literally rotting. All of my fingers and legs below the knees were amputated to help stop the spread of the disease.
While Jamie may be missing limbs, I'm certainly fortunate to have my daughter here with me today.
Usually people pick up things that they're opening, but I have to use surfaces to help me open it. Learning things a new way actually made me this really determined, adaptive person. All of my earrings are hooks because it's the only type of jewelry I can put in by myself. Today, I'm a woman living life to the fullest, and I found love along the way. I feel that the best is yet to come.
Well, Jamie joins me along with Dr. Lynn Friedland, pediatrician and vaccine research scientist at pharmaceutical company GSK, who we're partnering with today. Now, also joining us in the audience is Jamie's mother, Patsy. So welcome. Glad to have you here. Now, Jamie, had you ever heard of meningitis before your diagnosis?
No, it was the scariest experience.
Now, we saw how the disease turned your limbs black. What were you feeling at that point?
An excruciating amount of pain. And I felt like I had thousands of pounds of sand on me. After 2 months of being in the hospital, the doctor started to talk about amputations. Wow. And they decided to amputate my limbs to help stop the spread of the disease.
Wow. So, Patsy, as a mother, how did you handle Jamie's diagnosis? Had to be shocking.
Well, I was shocked, and it was pretty devastating. Jamie is my young, vibrant, healthy child.
Yeah. So, Dr. Friedland, talk about what meningitis really is.
Jamie had invasive meningococcal disease, commonly referred to as meningitis. It can cause inflammation of the protective membranes that surround the brain and the spinal cord. It can also cause blood poisoning with sepsis. Now, there are 5 vaccine-preventable groups, A, C, W, Y, and B. Early symptoms can be similar to a mild case of the flu, but as we saw with Jamie, this can progress very rapidly. Meningitis is uncommon, but it's potentially fatal.
Right.
1 in 10 will die, sometimes within 24 hours. And of those who survive, 1 in 5 suffer long-term consequences such as loss of limbs, like Jamie.
So who is most at risk of being infected?
Well, anybody can get meningitis, but teenagers and young adults have higher rates of infection with meningitis group B. For college students, there are increased risks. That includes living in close quarters, sharing things like food and drinks, and kissing. In fact, from 2011 through March of this year, meningitis B caused all U.S. college meningococcal outbreaks, and that involved 13 college campuses, 50 cases, 2 deaths, among an at-risk population of about 253,000 students.
So, Doctor, what can parents do to help protect their teens and young adults?
What parents can do is they can speak to their teen's doctor and ask about the 2 different types of vaccines that are available and needed to help protect against vaccine-preventable meningitis due to groups A, C, W, Y, and B before their teenager heads off to college. Now, vaccination may not protect everybody, but it can help save lives.
Jamie, you not only survived meningitis, you have a whole new life path.
With my mother, we are GSK spokespeople, and we're advocates for the meningitis vaccines. We want to help other families avoid this. After my amputations, I wasn't even sure if I was going to walk again.
Yeah. But not only are you walking again, but you also went on to become a competitive cyclist, right?
I did, and I have a gold medal to prove it.
Well, congratulations on that. This is amazing. Parents, I just have to say, it is imperative that you take this very, very seriously. Get educated about meningitis vaccinations. And a great place to start is at meningitisb.com. And talk to your teen's doctor about the 2 different types of meningitis vaccines. It's really important that you ask these questions. This doesn't just happen to other people. Take the precautions. I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Lynn Friedland. And Jamie, you are an absolute inspiration, turning this into something positive. So
Thank you for
God
having
bless
me.
you for doing that. If you have a story or life situation that you need my help, I want to hear from you. Just email me at drphil.com. Tell me all about it. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, we'd love to see you here in our studio audience. The tickets are free, and all the details are on my website. And be sure to subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks, and my crime podcast, Mystery and Murder Analysis by Dr. Phil. We'll see you next time.
No standing still. 20 seconds. Only one choice now. Here we go. All right, come around one. Stand by, Dr. Phil. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. Workplace bullying can affect you physically.
I threw my back out. I started losing my hair.
It can take a terrible toll on your mental health.
She would yell at me. She would demean me. Now I start thinking I'm worthless.
We're still rewarding this behavior. We need to make it taboo.
If you wake up every day and let somebody else tell you what your worth is, then you've given them your power. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. You know, I have certain principles I believe are critically important to have a healthy, robust society. One being, treat yourself and others with dignity and respect, right? Makes sense? Sadly, that's just not the case so much these days. Every week, there's another tragic story about a child being bullied to death. But did you know that 48.6 million American adults say they have been bullied as adults? Where? Well, at work. It's something you rarely hear talked about because shame and humiliation kick in. Often people don't even know it's happening until their physical health is in decline, their confidence and mental health are shattered, and they're out of a job.
When I was young, want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
I had a boss who was a bully.
I was bullied in the workplace at this company I worked for.
My boss was a massive bully from the first week I got to the school.
I've been one of the employees getting treated really badly and my manager just kind of standing there allowing them to do it.
He was very rude and yelled at me and was disrespectful in front of everyone. A staff full of women, no one spoke up for me.
She would yell at me, she would demean me, she would tell me that I was basically stupid and that I didn't have any value in the organization.
She started treating me very differently, not responding to emails, trying to control any type of communication I had outside the company or within the company. It was debilitating.
He would call me 6 a.m. in the morning, 9 p.m. at night, weekends. If I didn't pick up, he would start screaming, swearing, leaving rampant text messages. It was the worst experience of my life.
I'm just calling out the things that really need to change, and you guys totally know that. Office bullies, toxic leadership, it's got to change.
Who here feels like they have been bullied at work? Raise your hand. So quite a few of you. Is anyone not sure? Raise your hand. Because I think by the end of the day, you might look at it differently. Now, one last question. Who do you think are the bigger bullies at work, if you were going to guess? You think it would be men or women? How many of you think it would be men? Okay, how many of you think it would be women? Oh, wow. You're barely wrong. It's slightly more men than women, but it depends on who the targets are. Because women tend to bully women more. Men tend to bully men slightly more than women, but they do not play favorites. They do cross back and forth. Now, Zanika, you claim that you were bullied for years, and your bullies were female colleagues. Tell me what happened.
So I'm in the front desk department, and they have a back department that, you know, takes your blood pressure, takes you back. And there was a divide between. So it was the back department that I had a lot of problem with. But it wasn't just me. It was the way they spoke to us at the front. It was just like they were supposed to speak to us in a certain way. We were supposed to listen, and we were not supposed to tell if they were rude to us. But they could tell on us for every little thing. It was just like, it's a dynamic within the doctor's office that I'm sure is not just my doctor's office.
Did they have some type of medical training or certification?
They were medical assistants.
And you guys did not?
And we did not. And there was a definite, everybody was like, had a attitude about that, clearly. You know, and that's why I think maybe they thought that it was okay, but it wasn't.
Oftentimes people try to find somebody that they can feel superior to, and for some reason feel like, okay, I'm one up in the hierarchy, so this is somebody that I can condescend to, that I can talk down to.
Right, and that's exactly what was happening, but the problem was that the management was okay with it. And no matter how many times I reached out for help, it didn't matter. They would say, oh, everybody has a difficult personality, or some people are more this, or maybe you should this. You know, it was never, okay, let me come and help you with this, because it was really, detrimental to me. And I was one of the people who didn't realize how detrimental it was until I was really into it.
You just quit?
I just had to walk out. Otherwise, I just want everybody to know that I'm a single mom, and I live in California, and it's really expensive to live there, and I'm a homeowner, and I had to walk out of my job unexpectedly. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Now, that takes a lot to walk away, because when you're a single mom, you got a mortgage, and you just walk away from your job. So you go from an income to zero.
Zero. Unexpectedly. It's not a plan.
That takes a lot.
I had no choice. It was either that or me. It was either that or me.
You just couldn't take it anymore. When you quit, how did people react?
The meanest one walked down the hallway past my desk saying, yes, 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 I'm so glad. Yay. Ooh. I'm just like, because my whole point was to quit properly. I turned my notice in, finished my 2 weeks, and leave. I couldn't go back after she did that because it just made me feel afraid. Like, you wanted me to leave? You want all of my livelihood to be gone? Like, you dislike me that much? I can't come back into this building.
One of the things that I want all of you to know is the way we treat others says a whole lot more about us than it does about them. Now, Dr. Gary Namey is here. He's raising his hand because he knows so much about this he's about to bust. And well, he should. He's the co-founder of the Workplace Bullying Institute. And identifying this and stopping the job bullying has become a mission for you.
Not all bullied targets. We call them targets, not victims. And you'll get whole, but not right now. It doesn't look like it. But not all bullied targets are destitute. But I've always said the single moms are the most vulnerable in our society. She loses that income. That's why. Then you see how quickly others jumped on mobbing. Mobbing was the original term for this in Scandinavia. Many against one. And that's all it took. It took an instigator to come up with this. But then look how quickly they came on. I guess the third point is shame on the doctors.
Shame.
They're the leadership. They're the C-suite, if you will, in a medical office. That's unconscionable.
You know, and the interesting thing is when there's this hierarchy that's set up, they say, okay, we're licensed professionals, we can do this, we can do that, and you guys are just the minions. Let's have all of you not show up for a week and see how everything goes.
Right.
Let's see how it all goes there. You know, I always say that about around here. I'm as good as my team. You let me show up here without all of my team, one log won't burn.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of work that goes on before I get out here. I always say I've got this great knack for getting these gigs where somebody does all the work and I get all the credit.
Score.
At least I admit it. Zenica says she is still dealing with trauma from her workplace bullying. And I said I'm going to say some things today that might be surprising. And we're going to talk about the aftermath, because this doesn't just end when you walk out the door and you go, well, that's over. No, it's not. It changes who you are. As I said, some children are bullied to death. It leaves an impact on adults as well. We're going to add a woman to the conversation who says the most cold, calculating, and unexpected villain a woman will ever come face to face with at work is another woman. Now, she claims she knows because it also happened to her. We're going to add her to this conversation when we come back.
Threw my back out. I started losing my hair. I'd walk into a meeting. She'd ask in front of everyone, what size pants are those?
The common theme to all types of bullying is that the bully has the need to control another person. The first type, which we call the screaming Mimi, is a vein-bulging maniac who prefers a public setting. They're going to curse and yell and throw things. The most damaging family of tactics are implemented by the constant critic. It's always going to be turned into a she said situation. The third category is the two-headed snake, who happens to be smarmy and adopts passive-aggressive techniques and Jekyll and Hyde, backstabber, rumor mongerer. The fourth category, and we call that type of bully the gatekeeper. And this doesn't have to be a boss. This is where that powerful and narcissistic and superior in her head administrative assistant, lowly subordinate, this is the person who can actually grind everything to a halt.
Now, being bullied as an adult by another adult, it's something most people really couldn't imagine happening to them. Heather, you say you know exactly what Zenica is dealing with, correct?
I'm just so proud of Zenica for putting herself first and walking out. I was not that courageous. I was the one that I let them fire me. And like a single mother just like you, being so paralyzed by fear of how am I going to pay my bills? I have a non-compete. What does the future and uncertainty look like if I make the leap? I'm just so proud of you that you did it. I threw my back out. I started losing my hair. I mean, I was really deep into the anxiety, so much so that I didn't know how to get out and ended up getting fired as a result.
And what form did it take with you? What was happening? What were they doing?
So it was one woman, and it started really quietly. I was continuously being promoted, as was she. So you would think that we would have each other's back, right? That's what you would hope. You know, we sit on similar boards, empowering women. It all looks so nice on the outside. However, it wasn't so nice. You know, I'd walk into a meeting, she'd ask in front of everyone, what size pants are those? Ooh. You know, there would be the games of, I would submit for my bonus paperwork like any other employee. Crickets, no response, you know, delays on everything, anything that could impact me in a financial fashion without answer.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
I could walk into a meeting and she'd walk around and acknowledge everyone and walk right by me. These really passive-aggressive moves to allow me to know, stay in your place, get in your lane, back out of my way, or you're going to have repercussions and challenges. And then ultimately she ended up being promoted, and that's when she fired me immediately.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that research tells us across time, and it's really human nature, sadly, is you often see, targets of bullies being people that are threatening to someone. They're hearing footsteps. And these are people that are really competent. They distinguish themselves. They get their work done. The people that they should be lifting up, because, look, these are good team members. These are people that make us all look good, but they just can't coexist with them because they're so insecure and they're so threatened.
No matter how much I would try to get her to like me, because that was my strategy at first,
right,
which I know you know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I can show up better. I can make you happy. I can make it about you. But the more I did that, the more I became a B-rate version of myself. And then when I finally decided to start saying, okay, that's not working, I need to start showing up as me and the most powerful version of me. And that's when things got really blew up at work.
Same thing. Same for me. I thought if I just fell in line, I just did everything they asked me to do, and I was nice, and because I was already a good worker. It is the thing. They see that I am somebody who can really do this job well. And that didn't work. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. So I was abandoning myself for people who could never see me anyway.
Dr. Phil, she just triggered me. Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Drop it. Drop nice. The Oxford English Dictionary definition of nice is foolish. Let's not go there. Kind, but bully targets, quit being nice.
Well, interestingly, one of the things that I said that you may hear from me that you don't expect is I'm not going to say a whole lot about what you can do about the bully, because the reality is there may not be a whole lot you can do about bullies, not totally, but there is a whole lot you can do about the only person you truly control, and that's yourself. And the first step you have to decide is, I'm not going to be defined by this person. I'm not going to give my power away to some person that's going to write on the slate of who I am and tell me I'm not good enough, I'm a bad person, I failed in some way. If you let that person define who you are, if you let them change your internal dialogue to say you failed in this situation, you didn't get where you needed to be, then you've given them your power. And if you wake up every day and let somebody else tell you what your worth is, you got a bad road to hoe, because they can really play with your mind. And you can't do that, or it'll affect where you go from this point forward. Now, when the workplace bullying leads to the unthinkable, contemplating taking your own life, that's when I say you're really letting it define you too much. We're going to talk about one man's story and what stopped him after the break.
I want to bring awareness to workplace bullies and the impact and the danger that they cause to lives.
family filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Kroger and 2 of its employees. Now, they claim their loved one took his own life after getting bullied and harassed at work.
Evan Seyfried spent 19 years working for Kroger.
My brother loved food. He loved to cook.
In March, Seyfried died by suicide. His family is now suing the company and 2 managers. The lawsuit claims Kroger subjected Seyfried to torturous conditions that were directly responsible for his death.
We had no idea that he was being targeted for harassment and abuse like he was.
The lawsuit says in October of 2020, a store manager at the Kroger in Milford started a campaign dedicated to ousting Seyfried while proclaiming her intention to make his life a living hell.
Workplace bullying can affect you physically and take a terrible toll on your mental health, and tragically can end in a person taking their own life. Now, Sly, you claim you experienced workplace bullying, and it eventually led you to contemplating ending your life, correct?
Yes. I worked for corporations and startup organizations for over a decade, working with really ethical leaders. So when I decided to go out as a contractor and start doing some work on my own, I was surprised by the things that I experienced as being a contractor versus an employee, because the protections aren't necessarily the same. And the amount of unethical things that I encountered were shocking. And in one organization, I was working with the government, and I basically sat at my desk for 7.5 out of 8 hours a day, not doing any work. I was asked to put together a budget and went to go meet with people to get budget numbers. And they're like, don't worry about it, just make up the numbers. I didn't feel good about it. And it was against my moral compass to get paid for not doing any work. And I was getting paid a lot of money. And so I decided to resign. One of the managers I was working with said, hey, come over to my team. So I came over to the other team and started working. But my other manager, who was very big on her reputation, started a counterattack against me and started undermining the things that I did, started a campaign to discredit me. And it just became very uncomfortable. And for me, I became stressed. I had anxiety. Then I couldn't find employment. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And then at a certain point, I couldn't pay my bills. And I had to go to court. They wanted me to go to debtor's court because I couldn't pay. And I couldn't do it. And I was not thinking about ending my life. And I woke up. It was dark. It was heavy. I couldn't focus. And within a matter of hours, I just went into the spiral. And I called my brother Johnny because I was the caregiver for my mom. And she recently passed last year. And I just wanted to know that she was going to be okay. And he realized that I was breaking down, and he kept calling back. And he saved my life. And I want to bring awareness to the negative impacts of unethical workplace bullies and the impact and the danger that they cause to lives. And we're told to be good people, and it shouldn't be so difficult. But that's why I'm sharing my story, as painful as it is.
Tell me your internal dialogue at the point that taking your own life seemed like a reasonable choice.
How did I get here? I did everything that I was told to do. I was told to speak up against unethical activities. I was told to do the right thing. But I'm the one that's on the outside looking in. And the people that were doing it to me, the people that were unethical, they still have their jobs. And now I started thinking, I'm worthless. I'm no good. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do any better? So then you start transferring those feelings to yourself and blaming yourself for it. And it starts to wear you down. I didn't know what depression was. I heard the term, but I didn't know what it was until it happened to me. Workplace bullying is a real thing, and it can have a devastating impact. And it almost needlessly led to me ending my life.
First off, I'm sorry for your loss with your mother.
Thank you.
I know that's a very difficult thing to do, and it's interesting to me that you managed that situation, but when people are tearing down your integrity and your work ethic and your morality, they're tearing down the core of who you are. And that's what got to you. That's your base.
Absolutely. And for me, it was, I knew that my moral compass was here, and I adjusted just a little bit. The next time, then I say, okay, well, I was here before and it wasn't that bad. Now let me adjust again. And I said, no, that's not who I am. It was against my morals, my values, my ethics, my beliefs. And I wasn't going to change those, because if I changed those, I wouldn't be the person that I want to be and the person that I am today that can share my story and change this so that it doesn't impact other lives.
Yeah.
This workplace bullying is the only form of abuse that's not even close to being taboo. We're still rewarding this behavior. We need to make it taboo.
You know, there's something that I said earlier about, I'm going to talk to all of you that can be targeted with this, that can become targets, as Gary says. And you have to say, look, the only person I control is me. And it's very impressive to me that you came to that realization, which is why you're here. And one of the
50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
things I always encourage people to do is to pick up a habit of testing the rationality of their thoughts. There are just 4 criteria that you can use to test the rationality of your thoughts, even at the darkest possible moment. And one is to say, is what I'm telling myself factually true? You know, I'm telling myself, you know, that I've failed, that I'm no good, that I don't have a meaning or a purpose or whatever. Is that factually true? Because feelings aren't facts. You have to ask yourself, is what I'm telling myself, my internal dialogue, is this factually true? And then second, you have to say, are these thoughts that I'm having, are these in my best interest? Because what you were telling yourself, A, wasn't factually true, so you already failed the rationality test. 2, they damn sure weren't in your best interest. 3, do they get you what you want? No. And 4, does it protect and prolong your life? You were 0 for 4 in terms of rationality, and you figured that out because you're obviously no dummy. But, I mean, guys, look at how simple the questions are that you need to learn to ask yourself when you get in a really dark place. And I'm going to put these on drphil.com. And I mean, these are the kind of things that I really want people to write on a card, laminate it, put it in their pocket, put it on their phone. And you get in a dark place, ask yourself, you know, is what I'm telling myself factually true? Is it in my best interest? Does it get me what I want? Does it protect and prolong my life? And if you ask yourself and you fail any one of the 4, then you've got to generate a rational alternative, which you did, which is why you're here.
Yeah, and I really want to add, I have to credit my brother Johnny for saving me, because he recognized that I was in a medical emergency. And even though I hung up the phone, he kept calling back. And the thing that he did, and this will sound sort of strange, but he said to me when I finally called him back, he said, "You're right about all these positive things. Why don't you use your own advice to save yourself?" And there was something about that moment that shook me back to reality.
Yeah. Boy, am I glad he kept calling back. And am I glad you picked up the phone?
2 things. It took a systematic campaign of interpersonal destruction by his bully and bullies to drive him to this. Bullying is not a one-off. It's repeated. It's a campaign. You use the word campaign, very good. Second, the sense of worthlessness that other people dominating people try instill in you. As Dr. Phil said, don't go there. Don't let them cross that boundary and get so far in your head. But that sense of worthlessness, this workplace bullying is the only form of abuse that's not even close to being taboo. We've said no to child abuse, still happens, but we've criminalized it. We've said no to domestic violence. We've said no to school bullying of children. The teasing and taunting need not be a rite of passage. But in the workplace, anything goes. We're still rewarding this behavior. We need to make it taboo.
One woman claims she was bullied at a prominent financial firm on Wall Street. We'll meet her next.
I was emotionally bullied throughout my career. I was told I was nothing without Goldman Sachs. I was told I was nothing without their money. I was teased. I was tormented. When I had my fourth child, I was nursing, and I wanted to use the lactation rooms. When I went to use them, I was mooed at like a cow. Looking back, I have a better understanding now of my experience. I see how the toxic work environment not only encouraged this behavior, but required it in order to succeed.
I ask the audience, when you hear these things being described, how many of you have witnessed this kind of thing, even if you haven't been the target of it? How many of you have witnessed this kind of thing going on at work where somebody that, a coworker or whatever, you saw being picked on and targeted? Raise your hand. Yeah, so that's almost everybody here, 75% of you anyway. So this is not isolated. Jamie, you worked for and claimed you were bullied at Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. You even wrote a book about your experience called Bully Market. How did this all start?
Really, from the first day when I was in training, if you were a minute late, you had to leave and get a permission slip. If you were asked a question and had the wrong answer, you were kicked out. Sometimes people in tears. And even when I was actually working on my desk, you're just constantly told, you're nothing without us. You're nothing without our name. You're nothing without our money. So there's this just constant thing in the system where everyone is kind of getting bullied. And it's almost a learned behavior. So then as I raised through the ranks, it became more targeted to being told I was only promoted because I was a woman. Another big moment was when I was mooed at, when I finally had the guts to use the lactation rooms, which for my 3 other children, I was discouraged to do so.
You claim when you use a lactation room, then they started mocking you.
Right. So it started, cartons of milk left at my desk. And, a stuffed cow, which was supposed to be a welcome back for your baby gift. And then when I would walk off to pump, mooing, gesturing inappropriately.
When this happened, did you report it?
I did. I did the first time, and then it was made pretty clear to me they weren't going to do anything. After decades of great reviews, I suddenly dropped into, the bottom group, and I knew it was time to walk away.
There's a power structure in position, and what you have to do is make yourself as bully-proof as you possibly can. What you have to do is take care of yourself.
That's right.
And it comes down to saying, what am I going to do for me? What am I going to do to rehabilitate me? What am I going to do to not, because let me tell you, people that are bullied in one job, they're very often, more often than not, bullied in the next job. And there's a reason for that. And I want to talk about that and talk about what you can do so you don't become part of that statistic right after the break.
I plan on quitting my job because I got on by my boss. I got made fun of, lies spread about me. It makes me sad that the same level of respect that I tried to give to people wasn't reciprocated to me. It makes me sad that nobody cares about me. It makes me sad that at the end of the day, I got bullied by a woman who is almost a decade older than me. And now I feel uncomfortable to go to my own job. So now I'm gonna have to quit my job because I don't have any other solutions.
I need to read a statement from Goldman Sachs. We strongly disagree with Ms. Higgins' characterization of Goldman Sachs culture and these anonymized allegations. Had Ms. Higgins raised these allegations with our Human Resources Department at the time, we would have investigated them thoroughly and addressed them seriously. We have a zero tolerance policy for discrimination or retaliation against employees reporting misconduct, and all claims are thoroughly investigated with discretion and sensitivity. End quote. One of the things you don't want to do is take the attitude, if you can't beat them, join them. You know, you don't want to do that. You don't want to say, well, okay, if that's the corporate culture, then if that's the way to get ahead, I'll do that. That doesn't work either, does it?
Doesn't.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing I want everybody here to know, and this may sound mercenary, but it's how you do it that keeps it from being that way. Everybody here, I don't care what your job is or what you do, everybody here is a company of one. You are a company of one, you're a company of one, you're a company of one, you're a company of one. I don't care if you work for the United States Post Office. You are a company of one. You are in business for yourself. And you got to ask yourself, how am I doing? How's my company doing? How's my company of one doing? You are a life manager and you have one client and you can't fire yourself. So you got to ask yourself, how am I doing? Have I run it off in the ditch? Am I not doing well? Am I unemployed? Am I in debt? Am I in a bad situation? And since you can't fire yourself, then you need to work with your
50,000 Playbucks coins for free. Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
Yourself and say, what am I not getting that I want? And if you're going to be a life manager, you got to realize you teach people how to treat you. And like I said, you can't give your power away because how they treat you is about them more than it is about you. But you have to know that. And you can't move on until you accept that. Until you accept that what they did to you, it's not about you. Until you accept that, you can't move on. And some things only you can teach you. I can tell you, but only you can teach you. And you have to accept that or you can't move on. This is chess, not checkers. So you've got to think your way through this. You know, there's a reason the rearview mirror is this big and the windshield is this big. You've got to look forward. For you to come here and talk about this, you have no idea how many women will relate to and say, wow, if she can go through this, then I can understand it. I don't have to be ashamed of this. And that means a lot.
Shining a light on shame is the only thing that's going to extinguish it for you. And that I've learned this the hard way. I posted right when I got fired. No one was calling me. And I'd worked in the same industry for 20 years. I knew thousands of people. No one was calling me. And I thought, I need to post that I was just fired. So I did. And so many people called me and said, take that post down. You look so pathetic. That's embarrassing.
Ooh.
And I checked in with myself and I thought, am I pathetic? No. Did I steal money, hurt somebody? No. This lady didn't like me. You know what? I'm leaving that post up, and that post landed me on the Elvis Duran show. And halfway through that interview, he looked at me and he said, well, obviously you're writing a book. And I hadn't thought about writing a book, but that opened up a possibility for me. And I wrote my first book, and just doors started opening. That lady firing me that day took a negative person out of my life, which opened up so much opportunity for amazing people and amazing things to start changing in my life. It would have never happened had she not fired me and I had not owned that shame, which now I've put to work for me and flipped the script on it.
And now I'm looking at all three of you and I'm like, okay, all right.
There's a tomorrow.
There's a tomorrow. I can do this.
And I'd like to add, for me, I felt for those 2 decades, I was nothing without that company's name and their money. And now I realize I was successful there because of me.
Yes.
And
Despite them.
Yeah, despite that. So to your point, CEO of your own career, I always say you're the CEO of your own career. That it's like that goodness that, you know, got me promoted, that was always here. It wasn't because of their name. So know that. You have it already. You have it already.
Yeah, and you did come away with some things. You have experience. You have some things that you can use. All right, next, I have a final question after the break. Well, at the beginning of the hour, I asked for a show of hands of people who had been bullied at work. And some of you said, yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. After hearing all the different forms that it takes, I want to ask everyone again, who here has been bullied at work? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you've recast some of that. Now, You know, sometimes people feel they've been bullied when they haven't. Look, if you have a job without pressure, you don't have a job. I mean, every job has pressure because every job that has meaning requires something. And that's why you see the saying, you know, pressure is privilege. And if you're fortunate enough that your vocation and your avocation are the same thing, then you're really blessed. I really love what I do. So, not every minute of every day, but I really love what I do. So it's really rewarding for me. I love it, and it's my profession. So those two things go together. And if you can find something like that, great. But find something, even if it just empowers you to do what you're passionate about. Find something that pays you off. You've got to get that payoff. Because if you go through life just, you know, painting by the numbers and connecting the dots, that's a terrible way to go through life. It's a terrible thing to role model for your kids. Where like you come home and say, how was your day? Fine. You know, well, so that's what I do. I work all my life and then go out and sell out and do a job I don't want to do. You know, you want a role model for them, you know, something that you're passionate about and excited about. So find something that is good for you to do and exciting. That's why I say star in your own life. Do something you really want to do. And that changes across time. It might be one thing for a while and something else for another while, but do it. I appreciate everybody coming here today and talking about this. A lot of people are going to look at this and they may not have raised their hand at the beginning like some of y'all, and they do raise it at the end. So I think this has been a good conversation, and I appreciate everybody contributing. For more information about today's episode, or if you'd like to share your story, just log on to drphil.com. And if you want to add your voice to the conversation, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. You know where to find me. I'm everywhere. If you're in the LA area, or you plan to be, you want to join us on stage here in the audience, just go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience for all the details. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. I try to really talk about critical information and subject matters that we're all facing in our lives today. And Robin does the same thing from a completely different angle on her podcast, I've Got a Secret, where she doesn't keep any secrets at all. She talks to thought leaders and innovators and really unlocks the secrets to their success. You can find them both on Apple Podcast or really wherever you listen to podcasts. Stay safe. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much.
Today on Dr. Phil.
He would fit in the palm of your hand.
He's biting his tongue.
And his lips. He started scratching really bad to the point that it would bleed.
These infants cannot feel pain. Well, let me get a list of the stuff you're assigning me. If you want to be in a video, you want to win $1 million.
A Tesla.
I'm running out of ink, buddy. Slow down here. Let's do it. Is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Planning families, along with the joy comes an understandable amount of fear and anxiety. Quite honestly, many of us worry that our perfect angels won't even make it to see the light of day, belt out their first cry, and be held forever in our arms. The road to birth can be rough and not a straightforward one for many people. Now, for Lance and Julie, they dealt with fertility issues and several miscarriages before finally getting pregnant after 4 years of trying. But then, just 24 weeks into her term, Julie was rushed to the hospital to have a frighteningly early C-section with their son Jackson. Now, Tiny Jackson weighed only 1 pound and 3 ounces, which meant he was called a micro-preemie. Lance and Julie say they were overwhelmed with emotion, had a lot of fear when they looked at their newborn baby boy, who could just fit in the palm of one of their hands. Take a look.
Lance and I had been trying to get pregnant for about 4 years. We went through a lot of struggles.
We didn't have any luck. Did have some miscarriages and tubular pregnancies.
Lance and I started seeking treatment through an infertility specialist. We found we were pregnant and we were just on top of the world. At 23 weeks, I started having incredible pain. I went to the doctor and they said I needed to get to the emergency room immediately.
She had been in the hospital 10 days, and I got a call saying that I needed to get up there immediately.
We went straight to do an emergency C-section.
I was very fearful for Julie and Jackson, but especially Julie. I didn't know that she might have complications during the delivery where I could lose her.
On June 2nd, 2005, our son was born, weighing 1 pound, 3 ounces. Jackson had a survival rate of about 10%.
He was in a glass enclosure.
He was
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
So tiny, about 9 inches. He had like 100 cords wrapped around his little body.
He was about the size of a bird, would fit in the palm of your hand.
After 72 hours, they said, we would like for y'all to go ahead and name your baby. But they still had not told us if Jackson was gonna live or not. So Lance and I decided we would have what we called a death name, and his name was gonna be James Russell. A lot of people asked, what was the thought process of giving Jackson 2 names? If Jackson passed soon, I wanted him to have a biblical name. I wanted him to be in heaven, and I wanted to remember him that way. After 98 days, Jackson was able to come home from the hospital, and he weighed 6 pounds. We were completely relieved, but we were also scared to death.
Well, Lance and Julie say a few weeks after bringing Jackson home, he started exhibiting troubling behavior. So they began asking questions and investigating. They were shocked by what they discovered.
After Jackson got home, there were some odd things we were noticing.
First sign of trouble was he started headbutting, and that was probably around 9-10 months. At about the 1-year point, he started biting his gums and his lips.
He's biting his tongue, he's bleeding. Something wasn't right. So Jackson had to see a lot of specialists, and every time we brought up a concern, they said, you know, he was such a micro-preemie, just give him time.
Then about the 18-month range, he started scratching really bad, to the point that it would bleed. So one night I walked into his room, looked into his crib, and there he is with a white t-shirt on. It's covered with blood. I'm scared to death. I pick him up, make sure he's alive. It looked like he had been stabbed. He was scratching himself.
So at 2.5 years old,
Julie got a call from a high school friend who knew Tony Dungy from his days in the NFL and knew that Tony had a son with a rare pain disorder.
Tony said, Julie, quit doctor shopping. You need to go to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And we have a neurologist there, and I'm gonna make a phone call for you.
Jackson was diagnosed with HSAN, which stands for Hereditary Sensory Autonomic Neuropathy.
Jackson does not have a peripheral nervous system. Jackson will never feel pain. You won't feel it if you slam your hand in their car door. You won't feel when you get stung by a bee. We found out that this condition is the rarest upon rare. This was going to be quite the journey a lot of people didn't know anything about. Jackson
First broke his femur at age 7, and then after that, it was just seemed like one break after the other. He would break his radius, his ulna, his tibia, his fibia. It was terrible.
We were mentally exhausted. We were physically exhausted. There was lots of fighting.
Those times were very hard because we're trying to figure this thing out, and we don't have all the answers.
I know he can be paralyzed from breaking his spine. I know he can possibly never walk again if he were to do something he didn't feel. You're raising a different child.
We didn't know what the future looked like.
Well, it's good to meet you both, and we're going to meet Jackson today. And at the point that you were rushed to the hospital, you knew it was way early. So you knew that this was a high-risk pregnancy and was going to be very likely a high-risk delivery, right?
That is exactly right.
And what was your greatest fear at that point?
I think my biggest fear was I had been in so much pain for about 3 weeks. Honestly, when they took me there, it was a weird feeling. I almost kind of thought, I know that he's gone because there's just no way. There's just been too much pain. This is not normal. This is just not normal.
You know, something was wrong.
Right.
Yeah. What was your position in this? Because from a dad standpoint, a husband standpoint, there's kind of a helpless feeling, right?
Yeah, there's just the unknown. Are we probably going to lose him? Right.
And when you went through the process of, you said, giving him a death name.
Yes.
Take me through the process. What conversation did you guys have between yourselves in going through that process and facing that reality?
The doctors are saying if this baby is born at 25 and a half weeks or 25 weeks or 24 weeks, his chances of survival are about 10%. And y'all need to start preparing for that. They gave you the worst case scenario. I had this overwhelming, this child is going to make it.
What did you think was happening when you saw your son scratch himself and bite through his lip and his tongue?
It initially started with headbutting, and we just thought, well, okay, that's just what babies do.
We didn't know. We were first-time parents. We have no idea. And then when you have a child born that early, you're looking for, you know, just normalcy. They told us he might do this or that, but they never mentioned headbanging. They never mentioned biting through your lip. They never mentioned, we would take him and they're like, he's not gaining weight. And they're like, well, how much are you feeding him? I'm like, well, I start feeding him when he cries, but he never cries.
This syndrome that he has, this hereditary sensory autonomic neuropathy, particularly type 7, there are less than 24 of these documented in the world. So there is not a lot known about this. But what we do know is that these infants cannot feel pain.
Yeah, they can really hurt themselves and they don't even know they're doing it.
These symptoms appear at birth or in infancy, and they have repeated injuries. They heal slow, and there can be excessive sweating, and this is a genetic thing. There's a gene that's very rare, and there's a problem with having another child because there's a 50% chance that this could be passed on to another child, right?
That's what we were told.
The question becomes, how has raising a child with such a rare diagnosis affected the relationship between these two? We'll talk about that next, and later we'll meet this remarkable young man. We'll be right back.
My name is Jackson Bobbitt. I was born weird. I don't feel pain like other people. I don't know why. It's just how God made me.
As much as Lance and I have gone through, we have found that family, my sister, close, dear friends, were there for us.
They've been able to help us watch Jackson and spend time with him.
With Jackson's condition, we were told that we needed eyes on him 24/7. So we finally found friends and family and outside help, and it was so completely necessary.
My advice to families with special needs children is don't be afraid to reach out to family, to friends. They will help.
Lance and Julie both told our producers that helping their son live with his condition has affected their everyday lives, their relationship, their feelings about themselves and each other, of course. Take a look.
Jackson's diagnosis was extremely tough on our marriage.
Julie and I weren't always on the same page in how we were going to raise him and how we were going to handle this.
We were mentally exhausted. We were physically exhausted. There was lots of fighting.
Well, we had to devote so much time to Jackson, and we weren't able to devote as much time just one-on-one with each other.
I have to have an iPad. I don't care. I was at home with Jackson all the time. I was a constant caregiver. But Lance, Lance got to go to work all day. One time when Jackson had really been banging his head, he's been biting his lip, I've been dealing with that all day. I really was at a really low point. And I remember Lance coming home and he, kind of said, "What's for dinner?" And I think I left that night and just walked out the door.
Well, it's frustrating, when she's not herself because of, the day that she had to go through. She's going to take it out on somebody, and that somebody was me.
We were under so much stress. I felt like we both just hated each other.
How does it feel to hear yourself say that we just hated each other?
It's really hard to hear because we've come so far, and I never wanted to hate him. And I think hate's a strong word. It really wasn't hate. It was just exhaustion.
When you're raising a very high maintenance child that has a chronic illness, research tells us that in a couple like this, depression...
50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
Is, for both of the individuals inside the couple, is 35% more frequent than in couples in general. Anxiety is 57% more frequent than in couples without those kinds of challenges. And you say you've come so far. How did you get that far?
Someone advised us, y'all need to get help. And we met that person. And she came into our life for 10 years. We could actually go out to dinner. We started dating once a week. I could be myself again.
Robin talks about this a lot, and you always say you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And why is that so important?
Well, I think it's so important to put yourself first and take care of yourself so you can take care of those you love. Because if you're worn out, exhausted, mentally, physically exhausted, you don't have anything left to give to those that you love, and then everyone suffers. So I really think it's important to take care of yourself, mentally, physically,
and
emotionally,
not feel guilty
spiritually.
about it, right?
And not feel guilty about it, because taking care of yourself allows you to take care of those you love.
Well, raising Jackson has also bonded Lance and Julie closer together. They say that his infectious positivity, compassion towards others, and fantastic sense of humor has been a bright light in their lives. So let's hear from Jackson.
My name is Jackson Bobbitt. I want to meet Dr. Phil because I think it's pretty cool how he worked with lots and lots of different types of people, especially YouTubers. I was born weird. I don't feel pain like other people. I don't know why. This is how God made me. On a normal day, I wake up, I eat my breakfast, I get on the bus, play on my iPad, and I do learning, school, go home. Sleeping in my own bed bothers me. Maybe I'm gonna get a girlfriend. Yes, sir. Keep that in for Dr. Phil. I love YouTube so much because when I was little, I was a crap ton of surgeries, and I watch YouTube and it made me happy. A long time ago, I wanted to be a YouTuber, so I made my first ever YouTube video. Hey guys, what's up? Today is my birthday, so yeah, I did some fun stuff. My favorite YouTuber is Mr. Beast because he does so many creative ideas, like Squid Game in real life.
Are you guys ready? Yeah! Are you ready? Yeah!
Just like YouTube, I love movies because I love Hollywood. I love Tom Holland. If you're watching Tom Holland, I love to meet you, and the two other Spider-Mans, I love to meet you too. My mom had to worry about her mom when she got old. And she passed away. So now I have a fear of getting old myself, seeing my family get old. My dad taught me enjoy every second of your life because someday I might lose it. So I just enjoy every second with my parents.
Well, we're going to meet Jackson right after the break. Plus, we're going to hear from someone who has watched Jackson grow up since birth and says she truly understands the sacrifices that Lance and Julie have made for their son. We'll be right back. Let me get a list of the stuff you're assigning me here.
Yeah, I'm trying to list off all my things.
You want to be in a video. You want to win $1 million.
A Tesla.
Meet Jackson.
Hello.
So how you doing, man?
Good.
So how old are you?
16.
16. So how's the trip been for you? How you liking California?
Amazing.
Yeah?
I don't want to leave.
Yeah. You have a great and sharp mind on you, so you're clearly aware that you have challenges that others don't have. How do you stay so upbeat and so positive about everything?
I just like being happy.
Yeah?
I don't know, I just wake up happy.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
So what do you love about YouTube? Because you're really into YouTube.
I love YouTube because like all the different stuff they're doing.
You want to be a YouTuber, right?
Yes. I want to be a YouTuber so I can entertain people.
Yeah. And you have a favorite person on YouTube, right?
Mr. Beast.
I'd heard that he was a fan of my friend and popular YouTube personality, Mr. Beast. So I reached out to him and arranged for a surprise visit. Take a look.
So, Dr. Phil had planned this surprise for my son, Jackson. He is about to meet
Green light. Red light.
Mr. Beast. And he's gonna freak out. Why don't you go sit down?
Hey, what's up?
Mr. Beast! Whoa! I've been watching your videos for such a long time.
Yeah? Which ones are your favorite?
The Squid Game.
Green light. Red light. We have under 1 minute remaining. Time's ticking. Green light. Red light. Oh! It works! Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, without going super in depth, it was probably the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. What do you want to do for a living?
YouTuber.
Really? Okay. What's your channel?
Jackson Bobbitt.
I'll subscribe to it. But also, in the future, I want you to be a YouTuber. What are some things you want to learn about making videos?
How to edit.
The big thing with editing, for the most part, you kind of just have to do it, and with time, you just kind of learn. If you edited 100 videos, you're going to be way better than you were when you edited the first one. YouTube aside, how's everything been going for you?
School was pretty good. I've done lots of surgeries, and I've been doing that all my life.
And how does that make you feel?
Good, because my body heals, but I guess sad. So that's why I watch YouTube.
I hope my videos can help you forget about some of that stuff. I enjoyed meeting you.
I wish you the best, and I hope I get to see you in the future.
Likewise.
Tell all the YouTubers hi, and tell all your crewmates hi.
You know, he has these big games that he does.
He recreated Squid Game, and he like gives Teslas and Lamborghinis away.
Yeah.
And Dr. Phil, can I be in one of his videos?
Yeah, I think we could probably arrange
Please?
that. He had.
I want to win like $1 million in a Tesla.
Well, he had the big games that he does once a year for $1 million prize, and I was the talent judge in the one this year.
Yeah, Mr. B showed me. He took a picture with you.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah,
I'm
that was
famous
awesome.
now. I took a picture with Mr. Beast. I finally made it.
Yes. And another thing, my teacher like loves you. Well, not you. Well, he loves his.
So close.
Well, he loves you, but he loves this YouTuber called Mark Rober, and I really want my teacher to be in a Zoom call with Mark Rober and Mr. Beast.
Yeah, well, let me get a list of the stuff you're assigning me here.
Yeah, I'm trying to list off all my things I'm saying in videos.
So you want to be in a video, you want to win $1 million.
You're
And,
Tesla.
I need a
PS5.
Zoom with Mark
Rober and Mr.
Now,
Beast for science.
Is Mark
class.
the NASA engineer?
Yeah, he's at NASA engineer, and they're friends with Mr. Beast. And I
Yeah,
really
well, that's
want,
who I picked as the winner in the games that I judged. Was Mark Rober. He was the winner.
Wow.
Who
He
knew?
was the NASA. He was
I
the
bet Miss
NASA
Freeze would have done
engineer.
that too.
Pardon me?
I bet Miss Freeze would have picked them too.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
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 I thought you said I want to go to space with him.
Oh, no. I would say that too. Space is pretty cool and horrifying.
Okay, I'm running out of ink, buddy. Slow down.
And
here.
I really want to make a horror movie. And you can make it to Paramount. We can plan it.
Yeah. You're in the.
We can get rich.
Well, Jackson, you're in the right town because this is Hollywood and everybody's pitching everybody everything. So you are a pitch man, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right, when we come back, we're going to meet someone that has known this young man since the minute he was born. We'll be right back. Well, I'm here working for Jackson. He's brought his parents, Lance and his wife, Julie. I think they're his agents. He has a neurological condition, which obviously has not slowed him down one bit. He happens to be one of the most positive kids I think I've ever met. Jackson and his family all agree that having supportive friends and family, such as their good friend Stacy, has truly helped them get through some of the tougher times in their lives. Take a look.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
Julie and I have been great friends for over 20 years. I was in the next room when Julie got the call from the doctors that she was pregnant. The first time that I was able to go into the NICU and actually see Jackson myself, it brings tears to your eyes to see something so small. I mean, you just can't fathom what a 1-pound baby really looks like. So Julie and Lance were going to the NICU every day to see him. I wanted to do whatever I could to keep them just uplifted and strong, just wanted to be there for them. When Julie and Lance finally got Jackson's diagnosis, it was definitely a relief, but at the same time, it was like getting hit by a tidal wave. It's so rare. Not being able to feel pain brings on a whole new gamut of problems.
Jackson, sit down. We'll get you something to drink.
He has broken his legs numerous times, and he doesn't know that he does that. And as a parent, I just can't imagine wondering, did your child just hurt himself? I reached out to Dr. Phil, hoping that he could bring light to this disorder. Today, Jackson is thriving.
So what did you do after school?
Play on the iPad.
I've always told Julie that Jackson was put on this earth for a greater purpose, and it may just be to inspire other families, to let them know that good things can come out of what seems like some of the darkest times.
Well, Stacy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Full disclosure, Stacy is a friend of ours. Robert and I have a home in Dallas, and we've known Stacy for a few years, and you reached out to me about this delightful family, and one of the things you said to me was, you've got to meet this kid.
I did.
Thanks for the warning.
He can light up a room for sure.
She's been important to y'all, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And what do you think has been most important that has brought Jackson to the point that he is of being so positive and being so energized?
I think everybody that Jackson has around him, all of their family, all of their other friends have all been so supportive. And I think he just has a little tribe around him that helps him flourish. I think Robin hit the nail on the head. I mean, you have to take care of yourself to be able to have the energy to take care of the rest of the family and to be there and be supportive for your family.
Particularly in high demand situations, you really need a mother, not a martyr. And sometimes it can be so easy for parents to become martyrs. instead of mothers and fathers. And the kids don't need martyrs. They don't need somebody that gives their life up, because that cheats the child. They need fully functioning, happy moms and dads, and that means you've got to continue your life. And isn't it interesting that the real messages of hope and all start to come from Jackson himself?
Yes. You know, we were so worried about him when he started breaking and he was in the hospital constantly. We started noticing he was getting depressed. The doctors really pulled us aside and said, this little boy's getting down. So we gotta lift him up. We've got to figure some things out here.
Well, there's a doctor who has been rebuilding Jackson's entire body to make sure he can walk in the future. He hopes that he's going to be able to drive.
Tesla. Yeah.
We say Tesla because it's a self-driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to hear from the doctor next.
Your first reaction when you hear that you can't feel pain is, wow, wouldn't that be great? Well, it's actually devastating. You won't feel when your bone breaks.
So I told Jackson that he's got to be careful. He can't do anything to put himself in jeopardy of, continuing to break bones, that he's going to have to be physically very careful.
As time went on, we found that there was a procedure that we could do that was going to correct Jackson's legs. Through some research, we found Dr. Feldman.
Our goal is to rehabilitate Jackson's legs where he'll be able to walk somewhat normal one day.
We really don't want him to ever be wheelchair bound. After our 5th surgery of correction, Jackson is now up and walking. He is back at school. He's starting to enjoy life again.
Dr. Feldman is helping rebuild him and fix what's broken.
Well, we've been talking with 16-year-old Jackson, who lives with a rare neurological disorder called hereditary sensory and autonomic neuropathy type 7. There are 8 types, and they have various symptoms. In simple terms, Jackson cannot feel pain and has injured himself at times very severely and doesn't get any feedback that he's injured.
I feel pressure.
He feels pressure but not pain. Now, Jackson is here supported by his parents, Lance and Julie, and a very close family friend, Stacy, who all say Jackson is improving due to the great medical care they have received from Jackson's doctors, including orthopedic surgeon Dr. David Feldman. They say Dr. Feldman has worked to rebuild Jackson to ensure he can walk in the future after breaking so many bones. Now, joining us virtually from his office at the Paley Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida, is Jackson's orthopedic surgeon, Dr. David Feldman. So, Dr. Feldman, how are you, sir?
Good. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Good to meet you. Thanks so much for taking the time out of what I know is a very busy schedule. What do you think of this young man?
He's amazing, right? I mean, you can see the hope, right? I mean, we all complain about little things, and Jackson complains about nothing.
Exactly. It makes me feel guilty about complaining about my knees when they bark a little bit. It kind of resets the compass, doesn't it? Dr. Feldman, just so people know, you have a very sophisticated practice working on these very challenging disorders, and I say that so people around the country and around the world that watch this program know places are there to turn, because there is help for those that have really unusual challenges and disorders, and there are advances and breakthroughs being made all the time, and you're one of the people that works in that arena, correct?
Absolutely. This is Rare Disease Month, so it's really great timing for you to put this on the air, and I really appreciate you actually highlighting Jackson and his family and the psychological effects of having children with rare disorders or any type of disabilities. And I do think there's great hope for these children. I specialize in rare conditions or very unusual conditions, whether it's things like congenital insensitivity to pain or arthrogryposis. These are conditions that most people never see and most surgeons never see. So we treat people from around the world and certainly around the United States with these conditions.
But you're a first draft medical historian here because this is so rare that when you do a procedure, it creates a record for others to follow. And God bless you for what you're doing. Are there advances being made here that are you looking at things that are coming up in the future where you're going to be able to help him? And will you eventually be able to work on his spine, his hips, legs? What's in the future for Jackson?
I think he has a really bright future. I think we were used to be very reactive, and I think we've become proactive. And being proactive, we're able to maintain his strength of his bones to allow him to walk and not constantly refracture. As well, we've operated a number of spines on patients with HSA, and as you said, there are 8 types, and these 8 types are very similar in many ways. There used to be 2 types when I was in medical school, congenital insensitivity to pain and familial dysautonomia, and now we have 8 different types, but they have very many similarities between them all. And I think that when we treat them and we treat them proactively and don't let him become paralyzed and don't let him keep breaking, he can make those movies, those horror movies, and drive a Tesla.
I said it.
Will he be able to drive a car? Will he be able to do some of these things in the future?
I think physically he'll be able to drive a car. The question is, can Jackson pay attention long enough to be able to drive a car? He may become famous and get a driver, I think. It's really important that he...
on my phone or iPad.
Exactly. He could be doing some other deals in the car while he's driving.
I have a direct contact line to Elon Musk, so maybe I'll
what?
Maybe I'll see if I can.
You know him?
Maybe I'll get something that can put some bumpers on the car and limit it to 20 miles an hour or something until he gets a driver. So
I love a Tesla from Elon.
I know you're very busy.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Dr. Feldman.
Thank you for what you're doing with Jackson and all of the other. I know you operate like 400 or 500 times a year on these special cases, and again, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you. I appreciate it.
I'd like to thank YouTube personality, my friend Mr. Beast, as well as Dr. Feldman. Coming up, now that Valentine's Day is over, I'm going to tell you how you can show yourself the love you deserve right after this. We celebrated Valentine's Day by pampering and honoring others, buying flowers, boxes of candy, and showering special people with tokens of love and affection. But how do you show love to yourself? Well, the past 2 years have been particularly challenging for all of us. So loving yourself, well, really should be at the top of your priority list. Self-care is very important to one's overall health. We're constantly inundated with emails, phone calls, texts, personal problems, work issues, or dealing with world matters such as the pandemic. Now, there are several things you can do to honor yourself and rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. Let me give you a few quick tips. Having a really good internal dialogue with yourself is crucial, especially during these challenging times. Now, to do that, you've got to pay attention to what it is you're saying to yourself. You've got to have an ear for that negative talk, because it can fill up your life with stress, panic, and fear. And you can't know that if you don't hear what you're saying to yourself. So you got to hear those negative things, hit the eject button, and focus on the good, and keep thinking about a positive outcome. I'm not saying to be a Pollyanna, but I'm saying make sure that what you're telling yourself is helpful to you. In the morning, take 10 minutes to just be quiet and focus on your mind. Think about everything that you're grateful for. Make a list of the blessings in your life. Positive affirmations are another great way to set the tone for your day. Get outside. Even short periods of time in nature with fresh air, taking a walk around the block or even down to the corner, can really reduce symptoms of stress and anxiety. Just taking a break from your busy day to do that can really de-stress you, and doing that for even 10 minutes lasts for hours. Think about what you love to do and just do it. Take a salsa class, learn a second language, join a book club, anything that fills you up. Doing something you're passionate about should inspire good feelings and emotions. Make your living space comfortable and organized. Declutter, buy fresh flowers, purchase a beautiful candle. Create a space you love to come home to. Now, another way to distress is by taking even short breaks of your day to do something fun. And I'm talking about one great way would be to download the app game Solitaire Grand Harvest to your cell phone. It's the perfect way to take a break from your busy schedule, and you can download it for free. The game is set on a beautiful farm, which is visually calming while soothing music is playing in the background. That alone can help you unwind. You're also getting double the fun by playing solitaire and harvesting a beautiful farm. It's like getting two games in one, and the game is challenging because you often need to go through multiple attempts before successfully completing a level. But there are surprises and power-ups to help you reach your goal. As you progress in the game, you win rewards, credits, and surprises. So take time out of your busy day to relax and give yourself a gift of fun. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and download Solitaire Grand Harvest today. And when you do, you'll get a special welcome bonus. Now, I want to thank all of my guests today. And if you'd like to join us here in the studio audience, just go to my website, drphil.com, for all the details. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms. And don't forget to join our new Facebook group, Dr. Phil Fanatics. That's PHAN. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. My next guests are Derek Maltz, former director of the DEA Special Operations, and Tim Mackey, CEO of S3 Research. We address the nation's crisis that is killing our children, counterfeit drugs laced with deadly doses of fentanyl that are being sold online. I'm telling you, our kids are under attack. And check out Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw. Check it out for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you next time. So long.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
A jury has sentenced former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger to 10 years in prison.
In an exclusive interview, the family of the victim speaks out about the surprise sentencing.
25 was the number I had in my head. It was a shock. I felt like I buried my brother all over again.
Amber's offensive texts, the disturbing body cam footage.
How many times have you seen that in your head since then?
And why the victim's own brother
Can I give her a hug, please?
Yes. Is forgiving the killer cop.
You pay yes for what you did, but in my heart, I know I am free.
Now, from Dallas, Texas, here's Dr. Phil.
In this very courthouse right here behind me, a sentencing has come down that has shocked both the city and the nation. A jury of 12 people deliberated for just 5 hours before deciding the fate of former police officer Amber Geiger. It was one of the biggest trials of the year and one that had people across the nation calling for justice for the death of yet another innocent and unarmed black man. Geiger was off duty when on September 6, 2018, she entered the apartment of her upstairs neighbor, Botham Jean, and shot him dead.
Yeah, that's 911. This is Carla. Where's your emergency?
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy.
It's a case that's captivated not just Dallas, but the entire country.
1478 was Botham Jean's apartment. It's where the 26-year-old's young life was cut short when he was shot by a police officer.
Jean was shot in the place he should have been safest, his own home.
She was still in uniform when she encountered Mr. Jean in the apartment. It's not clear what interaction was between them.
This is Geiger pacing in the stairwell on her phone just moments after the shooting. In an orange jumpsuit, former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger is now charged with murder.
Amber Geiger's lawyers say the shooting was an accident, that she was off duty for the night and entered the wrong apartment by mistake, the one directly above her own.
This footage shows the chaotic moments after Amber Geiger killed Botham Jean in his own home.
she mistook 26-year-old Botham Jean for a burglar in her apartment when she opened fire.
Geiger testified she heard loud shuffling inside the apartment she thought was her own.
Why did you fire?
So I was scared. I was scared this person in the apartment was going to hurt me.
Prosecutors say Geiger did little to help Jean as he laid on the floor dying.
Breaking news in Dallas. Tonight, a jury is weighing a prison sentence for Amber Geiger. She was found guilty today of murder.
You could hear the gasps and sobs from the gallery. Jean's family waited for more than a year for this day. Jean's mother, Allison, stretched her arms in jubilation.
She faces 5 to 99 years in prison.
This verdict is for Trayvon Martin. It's for Michael Brown. It's for Sandra Bland. It's for Tamir Rice. It's for Eric Gardner.
But that victory quickly turned to disappointment and outrage. Geiger was facing anywhere between 5 and 99 years. Prosecutors requested 28 years, one for every year of Botham Jean's life. 28. That's the age he would have turned this year if he was alive. But in a shocking move, the jury sentenced her to just 10 years behind bars.
A jury has sentenced former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger to 10 years in prison.
Geiger's sentence today sparked both outrage and an emotional moment of forgiveness.
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace!
At the same time, inside the courtroom, a dramatic scene was unfolding.
I forgive you.
Botham Jean's 18-year-old brother, Brant, told Geiger that he didn't want to see her rot in prison and that he had one request before she was taken to her jail cell.
I love you as a person.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pin comment for link.
I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please?
Geiger's attorney called it humbling and the most amazing moment he had ever seen in a courtroom.
Today, in an exclusive interview, for the first time, Botham Jean's family is sitting down all together with their attorneys to react to what they say is a devastating sentence. Let me begin by saying I am so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I mean, I just don't even have the words to say how sorry I am for your loss. Thank you for sitting down with me. We're going to talk a lot about your son as it goes on, but I want to kind of bring us current with where we are. Were you surprised that the defendant in this case was found guilty?
No, I wasn't surprised, no.
Why were you not surprised? You felt they...
When I listened to the facts of the case, it led me to believe that.
And you too, you thought it was
the same thing. I think the prosecution worked very hard to bring out all of the facts of the case, and the defense's arguments were not as strong. So I had a feeling that it would lead to the outcome that we got.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Geiger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment.
Well, let's talk about the sentence then. When the sentence came out, this is murder. She could get 5 to 99 years. They asked for 28, she got 10. How did you feel about the sentence?
Well, this one shocked me.
That did shock you?
Yeah, this one shocked me, yeah. Never expected it to be so low, the years. I felt the same way. It should have been about 25 to 28.
We all know you go to the courthouse to get legal accountability. You don't go there to get justice. We refer to it as a justice system, but there's no justice in the courthouse, because the justice would be to have your son back.
That's right.
That's the only justice, right? To have your brother back.
That's right.
There's no justice in the courthouse. There's just some measure of accountability. There's no justice. But what would have been a fair accountability in y'all's thinking?
I was expecting, I think I would have felt better if it was anything more than 15 years. I was expecting 15 years. So with the 10-year sentence, it was a shock. I felt hurt. I felt like I buried my brother all over again.
Really?
Yes.
You felt violated again?
Yes.
Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I expected more, and 25 was the number I had in my head. But when I consider no matter what the sentence, it wouldn't bring my son back. So my aim is for her to reflect on her actions during the time that she spends in prison, no matter how long. And I'm even more comforted knowing that she's going to be spending that time in solitary confinement, which means that for 23 hours of the day, she will not be able to see the sunlight. So I also recognize that the decision was made by a jury of 12. So it is what they felt coming out of the facts of the case that was deserving of her. So there's nothing I could do but to accept it.
Look, we have to address the elephant in the room. This is a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed police officer, and Botham obviously is a black man. Did that play into this?
I think it did.
You think so?
Yes.
How so? Do you think that she got a lighter sentence because of that? Had it been the other way around,
Absolutely.
What do you think would have happened?
I think he would have gotten life. And I think if it was the other way around, we wouldn't even have to wait so long for the trial, because we've seen the injustice that takes place in America. And I thought that the jury was made up of more women than men. So I believe we have that tendency as women to be more sympathetic, especially to our own. She was a woman as well. So I believe the conviction for murder is one that took a lot of courage from the jury, but then the sentence seemed to have been, I'm just guessing that it was influenced by the women.
So when the verdict came back, guilty, was this a moment of victory, of accountability?
Relief.
At least someone had been held accountable?
Yes. And that's how I felt. I felt satisfied that she has been convicted, and I was pleased with that.
And I knew it was the outcome that Botham deserved, because he was innocent, he wasn't doing any wrong, he was violated. So a conviction of murder is one that was deserving.
Right.
I cannot see my Botham again, and I will not have him again.
Right.
So I did not jump up and showed my excitement and my joy.
Take me through the arc of that. When was the last time you did see Botham? When was the last time you saw him, and what was the exchange between you and your son?
In Dallas, with the family of Botham Jean as they react to the killer cop's sentencing.
When was the last time you saw Botham?
The same time with him.
Where you guys were together?
Yes, we were together. I was in New York with my daughter Elisa, and I had surgery, and Botham came over to see me that weekend.
Were you close?
Absolutely, very close.
Yeah.
In fact, he tried to surprise me on that visit to New York. But I think because I just had surgery, Elisa didn't want me to get too excited.
Well,
Yeah.
too excited.
Yeah, so she told me. But I still looked surprised when he came in.
Yeah. When was the last time y'all saw him? Did you see him right before or recently?
I saw him summer 2017.
Uh-huh. Were y'all typical brothers?
Yeah.
Did you tease each other, have a good time? Yeah. Who was the biggest cut up, you or him?
Him.
Him.
Him? Yeah. When was the last time you saw him?
I saw him in May 2018. I came to Dallas to visit during spring break. We spent time together.
How did each of you find out this had happened? Was it a phone call? Did someone come and tell you? How did you learn this had happened? Because since this happened, I've been watching this since it happened. I have two boys about this age. When I read about this, my stomach just went up in my throat. I just thought, oh my God, what would I do? How did, as a dad, how did you find out about it?
About 1 a.m., my wife called me. She didn't get me. I know it was something wrong once the phone is ringing at that hour. I heard a voice on the other end. I'm wondering what is going on. Is she ill? And then she revealed that Botham was shot. She could not even complete say the words of the crying. Botham was shot in his apartment, and he died. I was just, well, I couldn't process that. I just sat on my bed, could not say much.
He's an accountant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's a police officer or something that would be in a risky situation. He's an accountant.
That was unbelievable.
And how did you find out?
Well, I was with Elisa in New York at the time, and Elisa was the one who got the call.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. You were the first one to learn.
Yes.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
Who called you?
A social worker at Baylor Hospital. She called.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
And she asked me if I know Botham Jean. I said, yes, he's my brother. She said, she asked me to identify, basically to identify him. And then I stopped her and I said, what's wrong with him? I thought it was a car accident.
Of course.
And she said he was brought in because he was shot. She said all she knows, he was found in his apartment. And then I asked, is he alive? And she said, I'm sorry to tell you that he succumbed to his injuries. And I said, what are you saying? Because it didn't sink in. And she said he was shot through his heart and he died.
And you contacted your brother?
My mom called, tried to get my dad. It was my phone. And it was about maybe 2 a.m. And I picked up my phone. And then she asked to speak to my dad. And she sounded worried. So then I got up and went to his room. He was asleep. I gave him the phone. I knew it was bad, so I waited.
You didn't know when you...
No, I didn't know. I waited while he was on the phone. And I kept asking what happened, what happened. And it took him about 10 minutes to all he said was Botham. That's all he said. Another 5 minutes later, I heard he was shot. And then that's all I knew for about half an hour. I tried to go to bed. I was just on my laptop, and then when I fell asleep again, there were about 5 people at my house, probably about 3 a.m.
Well, you all had to see something that was horrific, and we're going to talk about it right after the break.
With the family of Botham Jean as they react to the killer cop's sentencing.
Body cam video of an arriving officer is introduced into evidence.
It showed Geiger just moments after the shooting and Botham Jean's final moments alive. Moments later, you can see one of the officers begin CPR on Jean for 7 minutes. Paramedics arrive about 5 minutes later.
At some point in this process, you were surprised to see body cam footage of what took place inside the apartment?
Well, the first time it came on, we left the room, and there was an understanding with the prosecution team that anytime the footage was shown, they would give us a sign. So we went out. But when she asked for a replay, I thought it was just of the corridor, so we stayed in. And then when I saw that they were going into the apartment, I didn't want to disturb the court, so I closed my eyes. And when I heard a lull, or when I thought it was over because there was no more sound, I opened my eyes, and there he was on the floor. So it was really disturbing because that's exactly what I did not want to relive. I didn't want to see him in that state.
You don't want that image, right?
No.
You don't want that seared in your brain.
Yeah.
But you did see it.
Yeah, as soon as I opened my eyes, that was what was on the screen.
How many times have you seen that in your head since then?
Over and over.
Did you two see it?
Yes, we stayed.
Yeah.
Did you want to see it? Did you want to know what had happened?
Yes.
Yeah. Did it help you to see it? Or did it, how did it affect you?
I think, in a way, it did. The fact that he was unconscious, I felt like he wasn't feeling everything that was going on. I felt a little better.
She was walking around saying, oh my God, I'm in so much trouble, I'm going to lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
Not rendering aid, but walking around saying, I'm in trouble, I'm going to lose my job. I'm paraphrasing, but how did you feel about that?
It made it worse for me because it's one thing to know that your son was shot, but I would have felt so much better had he gotten aid immediately. And even before seeing the video footage on the 911 call, I got that sense immediately because I wasn't even hearing the dispatcher asking about him, whether he was conscious, whether he was bleeding. You know, I didn't hear much concern about him. Mm-hmm. So that was really disturbing that he was not given that attention he needed immediately after.
What do you think happened? Why did she walk into his apartment and shoot him?
With the family of Botham Jean as they react to the killer cop's sentencing.
It was an emotional day today in the Amber Guyger trial as the former Dallas police officer took the stand.
I feel like a terrible person. I feel like a piece of crap.
Why did she walk into his apartment and shoot him?
I think she made a mistake of the apartment. I think she was distracted, but when she got to the threshold, she said she heard shuffling, which she thought was a threat. And she went in search of that threat and intentionally killed him. So leading up to the apartment door could have been a mistake. But when from outside of that door, she made a decision to go in and to take out whatever threat was inside.
So you think she purposely went in there?
That's right.
And Lee, does that meet the test?
Yeah, so what the prosecution had to establish is what everyone sort of agreed to, that she was at the wrong apartment door unintentionally. It was a common mistake in that apartment complex. Mm-hmm. People ended up at the wrong door often. What became unreasonable was how she handled that situation. 92 other residents ended up at the wrong apartment door. Some of them even peeped their head in, traveled all the way into the apartment, and then realized their mistake and turned around and left. She went in with her express deadly intent to terminate the threat, to find whoever she believed was the intruder and shoot him to death. Even if she had ended up at her apartment, the law doesn't allow her to do that without that person being a threat to her. We know Botham wasn't a threat to her because he was sitting on his couch eating a bowl of ice cream.
And y'all understand that was the instruction to the jury. If you are unanimously agreed, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm jumping around, but it says if you are unanimously agreed that the defendant did not believe that she was entering her own apartment or did not believe that the deceased was an intruder, then you find her guilty. So they either had to believe that she didn't think she was in her own apartment or she didn't believe that this was an intruder or that her actions at that point were not reasonable.
Right.
And that's what you're saying, that right. Whether she, even if she believed that, her actions weren't reasonable.
Not reasonable at all.
Yeah. So, in other words, they had to find that they rejected that she reasonably acted and went in with deadly force and murdered a man eating ice cream on a couch.
Yes.
And gave 10 years.
10
Ben?
Yeah, you know, we believe it is the first time that a white policewoman has been convicted of murder for killing a black man in America ever. So that's a historic case when you look at it from that perspective. And what we are trying to do is make sure with this history lesson, America gets a teachable moment, that we have to teach police officers they have to change this shoot first, ask questions later mentality when it comes to interactions with black and brown people. De-escalation, conflict resolution, diplomacy. She had all those opportunities before she entered that apartment, but she went in with this notion that it's a threat and I'm gonna take them out, and it happened to be one of the brightest lights the world has known.
Look, everybody knows I am a very big advocate and proponent of law enforcement. I think in the main, we have African American officers, men and women. We have Caucasian officers, men and women. And in the main, I think they all try and do a good job. But there's a curve, and there are some that don't.
That's right.
There are some that put their lives in jeopardy to save anyone, save every one of you, me.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
And then there are those that shouldn't have a badge and a gun.
Right.
And every police chief in America will tell you that. Yeah. You know, I stand for law enforcement in America, but that doesn't mean they all do the right thing all the time, and there definitely was accountability here. There were offensive text and statements that were shown in court. Were those offensive to you?
To Dr. Phil in Dallas.
Amber Guyger's former partner, Officer Martin Rivera, testified about the racy messages they exchanged the day she shot and killed Botham Jean.
Would you send provocative photographs of yourself to Amber Guyger?
Yes.
Want a touch? Read one Guyger sent around 9:30 that night. 30 minutes later, she texted, "I need you, hurry." And then, "I messed up," but using an expletive. Prosecutors say she typed while on the phone with 911 reporting she'd shot Jean.
There were offensive text and statements that were shown in court.
That's a text that she sent to her partner about getting drunk. That was the same day that I was sitting planning my son's funeral. So that one was the most offensive to me. It did not show remorse, because I couldn't imagine that someone had killed another person and was thinking about getting drunk and, you know, having a good time with her friends. So all of the act out in court didn't mean much to me because of what was revealed.
What does that say to you about her?
I just thought she depended on her police privilege and her white privilege and thought that she would have been able to get away, because 2 days after she had done that, we were told that it was just a simple mistake and she was so sorry and she was so remorseful. I felt that if we did not stand up for him, his death would have just gone down like just another black man.
Alyssa, you're close in age to her. If you had done something like this, made a mistake like this, if it was a mistake, certainly an error in judgment, can you fathom 2 days later doing something like that?
No. I think 2 days later, a year later, I would be a mess, knowing that I took someone's life by accident. As you said, it was a mistake. I would feel horrible. I would want to reach out to that family and let them know, to me every single day, let them know how sorry I am, how bad I feel about it. To me, I would be at their mercy.
And she never sent an apology to you all?
No.
She never said she was sorry?
Never.
No, never heard any.
Well, for the first time from the stand, when she needed to gain the sympathy of this jury, she made a passionate plea to the family. And I think the prosecutor did a good job saying, I see you doing that now, but let me take you back to that night when Botham Jean's body is being rolled by her. And she's on her phone, and she's texting, and she's deleting texts, and she's planning her alibi at this point.
You say you think the investigation was botched and that the crime scene was contaminated. What was botched?
After the first responders got there, she was still up and down in the apartment. She still had access to her cell phone. She was taken away, then she was pulled back. Body cams were turned off. Dash cams were turned off. There was concealment of evidence. There was deletion of evidence. What seemed to be corrupt practice by members of the police department. So Botham, to my mind, did not get a fair chance.
2 days after this murder, we met with the lead investigator, and he said at the start of his investigation that he had already concluded that Amber Guyger just made an innocent mistake. It was no surprise at the conclusion of his investigation, he didn't feel like she did anything wrong.
When you look with your own eyes, that they tell the police union president says, turn off the vehicle recorder in the car. They don't do that for any other criminal suspect who's just murdered an innocent person, and they tell her, don't say anything. They like giving her warnings, and you don't hear her ever say she was in fear of her life or Botham was a threat on the 19-minute 911 call. It's only after they conspire to get the story together, because the U.S. Supreme Court has told police officers in Graham v. Connor, if you say you feel threatened, when you kill a person, especially a person of color, that's your get out of jail card free.
Some things happened at the sentencing hearing that brought the judge to tears, brought the judge off the bench. We'll be right back.
Phil in Dallas with the family of Botham Jean as they react to the Killer Cop sentencing.
At the sentencing hearing, you gave the impact statement, correct?
Yes.
During that, you asked if you could hug her.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please?
I thought it was a very Christian thing to do. Would Botham have endorsed that?
Yes, he would.
Botham would have endorsed that. Did you think about that at the time? Because you were thinking, this was not for the cameras. This wasn't for anybody. This was you, your heart, and Botham, right?
I thought the cameras were off, and I was just talking to her. So, see, in my mind, if I'm going to say I forgive her, I shouldn't be able to not do these things that I would do.
If Botham's watching this, what's he say about it? Dad, what's your son say about that?
I'm well pleased.
Well pleased? What's he say about it?
Yeah, Botham was exactly that kind of person. He always saw the positive side. So I think he would have endorsed it. What I don't want people to think of it is that it was done for any publicity. Brandt is not a child who wants publicity. We didn't know what he was going to do. In fact, when we were asked whether we wanted to say anything to her, we declined. Then when Brandt says, yes, I want to, I was like, what are you going to say?
Right.
He said, Mommy, I just need to go. And he was headstrong about going.
It meant something to you. This was not for publicity. This was for you and your heart.
Yeah. I don't want to live the rest of my life saying, I hate you. I wish I could get you back. It just clears your mind. It frees me knowing that it's settled. You would pay yes for what you did, but in my heart, I know I am free. If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you.
They often say to a man before they execute him is, may God have mercy on your soul. No matter what the man has done, it's like you have to answer to man's law. What you did is not okay when I forgive you. It was a heinous thing before I forgive you. It's a heinous thing after I forgive you. But I turn this over to God. God sits in judgment, not me.
Right.
You've answered man's law. This is now between you and God. What you did was horrible before I forgive you. It's horrible after I forgive you. But I choose not to be locked in a bond of hatred and bitterness with you for the rest of my life. I let that go. And when I saw that, that's what I felt you were doing.
Dr. Phil, most persons all over the world, regardless of their religious belief, say what they refer to as the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
And in it, it says, forgive those who have trespassed against us. Yeah? So what does that mean practically?
Yeah. Well, this is a perfect working example of that. I have one question left for this family after the break.
With the family of Botham Jean as they react to the killer cop's sentencing.
At the break, I said I had one question left for y'all. I have two. You guys have called for peace and order from day one, minute one. You support those that are wanting this to be a landmark decision where there is accountability for another unarmed black man being shot.
The Christian faith teaches forgiveness, but it does not excuse the crime.
Right.
That's right.
And so we have to make sure that this is a teachable moment, because how many hashtags are out there, Dr. Phil, that we already know about where it was unjustifiable killings? Yeah. And hopefully the legacy of Botham Jean will impact fewer hashtags, if any more, after this.
Right.
Shortly after Botham was killed, there were 9 protesters in Dallas that started being called affectionately the Dallas 9, who were arrested in protests.
Want 50,000 Playbucks coins for free? Start playing now and dominate. Check description and pinned comment for link.
Amber Guyger not being arrested the night that she was, that she committed this crime. And the family has always stood with them, has always appreciated those who are willing to advocate on their behalf and to advocate for change. What Dr. King said is that peace isn't the absence of friction, it's the presence of justice. And I think that's what this family has always stood for.
My last question is about this foundation.
So the Botham Jean Foundation was established shortly after my brother was killed in October of 2018. Our motto is promoting Christian intervention for social change, because I think we thought that would be the most suiting that Botham would endorse.
People can make donations to the foundation, and so I'm going to put that on the screen here.
Yes.
Thank you. And I'm certainly going to support it. I can't thank you enough for taking this time. I'm so impressed with your courage.
Thank you.
You've created a very important teachable moment in our country, and you're to be commended for that. Thank you. I want to thank all of my guests, Attorneys Crump and Merritt, Darrell Washington, who was not here but has been a big help with everything that's happened, as well as Bertram, Allison, Brant, and Alyssa. Our prayers remain with this family as they continue to mourn a truly wonderful young man whose life was stolen from him in a senseless act far too soon. From Dallas, Texas, I'm Dr. Phil. Thanks for watching.
Say